Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is Kopp's. Receive 2 $25 gift vouchers for just $25. Kopp's makes delicious pizza, fresh salads, and tasty charred wings. For the basic menu, click koppspizza.com. And for the extended menu, visit them at Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and the newly reopened 72nd and Jones locations.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Get ready to experience the excitement of college baseball's championship series in Omaha with tickets for less. Use promo code THEZONE to get exclusive savings on tickets for this year's games at ticketsforless.com. Every seat holds a story. Find yours with no service fees at ticketsforless.com.
1620 The Zone.
2 strikes on Ohtani. The crowd hushes. And the pitch from Skenes. Swing and a miss. 101. Blew it right by him. 2 straight strikeouts for Paul Skenes.
The next pitch. Hit in the air. Deep left center. Back goes Robert. Cubs win the ball game. Mike Tuchman with a game-winning home run. Listen to this crowd.
As a player, it's easy. You have a little bit more control. It's as a player, it's a lot easier. As a coach, it's harder, but it's gratifying, and it does feel good to be able to be here.
The core group of it has been here for a few years now. We've been able to go through the experiences of having success, but not having success at the same time. So I think that to solidify it, the ultimate goal is to get over the hump and win.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
Is that because we have double Jimmys in the house today?
What more could you
with
want?
A little applause there.
What more could you want?
We have stuff if you want stuff.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
Broken by the Peterman.
Good morning. We are live. We are local. We are on a Thursday, and it is a double dose of Jimmy's. And then a guy named Gary. Jimmy Allen is in for Nick. Jimmy Chavez here as usual. I was all excited. There's a lot of things to talk about because finally the NBA playoffs tip off tonight. And then, the pure definition of a Woj bomb.
Literally, yeah, maybe the crowning Woj bomb that we've ever seen
has occurred this morning. This was tweeted out at 5:53. You might have been outside walking your dogs. Hell, you still might be sleeping. But at 5:53 this morning, now inch closer to your radio because this involves Creighton. Adrian Wojnarowski from ESPN. The Woj bomb. Shams didn't have this.
This literally was broken by him and only him, and other TV stations started cutting in.
See, he has announced that the LA Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers,
the
LeBrons, who gets his way,
owned by the Buss family,
was having a podcast with JJ Redick. JJ Redick was going to be the next head coach of the LA Lakers. But according to Woj, the Lakers are preparing a massive long-term offer for Dan Hurley, the 2-time national champion head coach at UConn, to bring him to the NBA. Woj reports that talks are expected to escalate in the coming days.
Which also means if you hate the TV crew that's doing tonight's NBA Finals, I have bad news for you.
JJ and Doris are staying together.
And my team will be on mute.
This is out of everybody was like locked in on JJ Redick because I was always thinking, man, they got to move Tim Legler to the main NBA crew on ESPN with Redick, and he goes to coach with his podcast friend, and then this drops. Wow.
And there's reports coming out now that he may have been the front runner the whole time too. And if that ends up being the case, that Redick thing was maybe just a little bit of a smokescreen, that's going to be really interesting. Like I don't know. You're the Lakers. Why do you need to do that?
Can't wait till they all fail.
If you look at it on the surface, if you're a Laker fan, Dan Hurley is better than JJ Redick.
Not even debatable.
There's no Redick is 40, doesn't have any coaching experience. Dan Hurley has been successful at every spot he has been at. I don't know that I've ever heard him mention that the NBA was a place that he wanted to go, and especially a place where you have a 40-year-old man who is one of the greatest of all time, but is at the end of his career.
And is a shot caller.
Who has a son that is coming into the NBA. And you're right. He calls the shots. He fires coaches. And you are leaving a program that has just been a monster in stores for LA. So do you scratch the itch? Like, you want to do it one time and you're still young enough that you could go back to college if it didn't work out. Like, we thought Brad Stevens would do, or Billy Donovan might do. And this is mammoth. This is mammoth for the Lakers, but mammoth for the Big East.
You have to wonder, like, what the driving force for Dan Hurley. Obviously, you won you won 2 national championships, and you're in a really good spot. Albeit, it seems like you really like your position and where you're at. The last time you were in front of the media, you talked about how much the fan base meant to you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now this is coming out, and it's like the other thing about this. Those two personalities, Dan Hurley and LeBron's personalities, don't seem like they would mesh well.
How about this, Jimmy? We're talking 82 games. Hurley's personality with his players.
True.
Would Dan Hurley last for 82 games revving at that level? I mean, would you have your sanity at the end of the regular season?
They just showed him doing high knees during the Marquette game last year over on Fox. So, I mean, is he going to have the stamina?
This is... Man, I walked in the studio and you guys have the extra TV on, and I thought it was like The Onion because I looked at it and it said reports Lakers targeting UConn's Dan Hurley to the next head coach. And I said, is that real? And you go, oh, yeah, that's real.
Peter Krenzer walked in here and looked like somebody just kicked his dog. He was like, have you seen the news? What
Peter,
news?
is Peter a big UConn fan?
I don't know. He broke the news.
I didn't think he looked very sad.
He looked excited. He looked confused. He was like, I think he was like coming to verify with us.
I said, you broke news. Why don't you take this?
So think about this for a moment. This is.
I don't know.
Everybody keeps refreshing to see where this is going. I mean, this is a major Woj bomb. But look at it this way, guys. We are in college athletics to professional athletics, back-to-back major national champions. Their head coach wins a national champion. One jettisoned back to the NFL and Jim Harbaugh.
Right.
And if this is true and this comes to fruition, Dan Hurley will win a national championship for the second straight year at UConn and go to the pros. I don't know that looks great for the college game.
Well, but it's a lot.
Even if Harbaugh has been in the NFL and came to college and went back, I don't know. That just seems like an odd.
Well, it's not unique.
Odd timing.
Yeah, it's not unique to those two guys, though. I mean, we're seeing coaches all over the place. You just had a head coach in college leave for a coordinator job in the NFL because they didn't want to deal with the NIL portion of things anymore. I mean, that's got to be a lot of it. It's a completely different job now.
Wow, this is This is because it also plays into, Alex Caravan just took his name out of the NBA draft and came back to UConn. Wouldn't UConn's players have a 30-day window? Like the portal is like closed.
Completely unrelated news. Creighton has one scholarship spot left open on the roster.
I mean, is Tim Beckham sending his coaching staff to stores?
I mean,
remember when that happened? When he sent his coaching staff to State College to try and fleece Penn State's football roster when he was at Illinois?
I can't imagine that whoever UConn would go with would be an out-of-house hire, though. Especially this late in the process where you have to kind of keep that.
But it's a great program. Hey, keep your head on the swivel. And I'm sure that Adam Silver is just elated by this news because tonight, the NBA has been on a hiatus for basically a week, and it finally tips off tonight with Dallas and Boston. There's a lot of intrigue, and this story runs neck and neck with the NBA Finals.
Yeah, do you think the NBA is happy about this? I don't know if the people that are watching the ratings are going to be thrilled to see this because it's kind of a
it'll be the thing will be like in the pregame show tonight because it is ABC. They'll have Woj, and so it's a talking point. They always say this. I remember when I was in baseball, they would put out a memo like around the World Series. If you're going to fire somebody or hire somebody or make a big announcement, do not wait until the World Series is over.
Yeah, it's a little surprising that this news breaks today, not because it's just a random Thursday, but because it's the start of the NBA Finals and the championship series.
I just see it.
He's a great coach, but man, can he adapt to the NBA with his personality, his intensity? Well, I think he can handle the locker room, but man, he revs high. We're talking 82 games. 82 games that he would have to.
He's not Shaka Smart. He's not out there playing defense on the side.
Oh, Dan Hurley. Oh, Dan Hurley is on tilt. I don't care. Shaka Smart can do all of that. Have you not seen? You watched Hurley?
Yeah,
Hurley on the sidelines is the same guy. He's like going wall to wall. I'm just saying, you got 82 games in a sport where if you lose a game in the middle of October, it's not going to ruin your season. Are you going to be able to rein that in and
that just seems like
your whole season when you're the coach of the Lakers?
Like if Dan Hurley's not playing cornhole, he's probably that same personality. He just hates losing, and it's pretty evident. It will be unfortunate to not see him in Omaha getting cursed out by the fan base, though.
Well, if this happens,
the Blue Crew got the last laugh.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals are tonight, but the biggest story in the NBA drops before 6 a.m. Central Time.
Very rarely does that.
Hello
to
the NBA. What the hell Barkley feels. Well, that'd be great if they had Inside the NBA tonight. All right. Welcome in, everybody. As I mentioned, Jimmy is in for Nick. Jimmy is here. The NBA Finals do tip off tonight. Nebraska football had a good day yesterday. Good enough that you revisit the career of Trey Bryant, former Nebraska running back of about 7-8 years ago when he committed to Nebraska out of St. Louis. But Nebraska had a good start to the recruiting cycle in June yesterday. 86 days away from UTEP. I heard you and Schreiner talking when I was going to Warner Park last night. I heard you guys talking about full breakdown on the UTEP game on the betting line.
It was more, what does it mean if they cover versus what if they don't?
Are we already there? Jimmy, it's 86 days until that game.
It's June. We didn't have this news to talk about today, and I don't know if you know this. John Schreiner, huge fan of the NBA, so he wouldn't have cared.
Man, you got to see when he comes in here. He's got his jump mans on. He usually wears. What does he go with? Andre Karolinko 47 Jazz jersey. He usually wears that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard he did like a whole segments on soccer the other day.
Three of them.
I would have driven off the bridge into the river.
Most people did. A lot of people were happy. They let him know about it. But hey, he also said you could also come grab the mic whenever you'd like.
HR does not like you to grab one's mic.
But I heard you guys breaking down if they cover or don't cover. Good teams win. Great teams cover.
That's what I've been taught.
I heard what you said. You're absolutely right. UTEP, a lot of issues. They're a good team to play in the opening week with a brand new head coach, running back, quarterback, unknown.
Brand new head coach. He was here last year. This is Matt Rule. He's former Carolina.
Wrong team.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
The opposing team has some issues coming into that game. But on that, we will talk some college football today because when I was away last week, I'm not sure what happened on this radio station, but I got an email that is going to lead to some content. Is someone basically they said, and I think I deleted the email. I should have saved it. They said, I'm a big fan of 1620. I'm not necessarily a Nebraska fan, but I like college football. You guys dog on everybody else that is not Nebraska. And I said,
that's not true.
And my response was, that's not true because we dog on Nebraska as well.
Right.
That's what we do here at 1620.
Has he not heard us talk about Kyle Whittingham? I mean, this show is very much a proponent of him.
So I tried to figure out what fan of a Big Ten team he was. He wouldn't give it up. It turned into a really good conversation.
Feels like a Minnesota fan.
He was mentioning things that happened like 8-9 years ago, like funny stuff on the radio station. So I said, you know what? We're going to say something nice about all 18 teams in the Big Ten.
I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah, so that's where it came from. No, I just didn't come out of that and go, that's content. That's great stuff.
I just felt like Gary was like, I feel like being nice today, which if anybody knows Gary Sharp,
it's sunny already.
Very, very opposite direction for him.
What do you mean?
Curmudgeon, angry man, Gary Sharp.
I don't get riled up about anything.
You not listen? He's a ray of sunshine compared to me.
I'm
the curmudgeon here.
You're not wrong.
Jimmy came to this show last week.
Jimmy came in guns blazing this morning too.
Shock. So we will take 9 teams today, and we will say one thing nice about all 9 of those teams, and then we'll do the next 9 coming up tomorrow. It is also north of the border. It is Kade Povich Day at 12:07. The former Bellevue West T-Bird will take the mound for the Baltimore Orioles in his Major League debut against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Man, big night in Canada.
The former Husker, who was drafted in the 3rd round in 2021, has risen quickly. He was drafted by Minnesota was kind of a shock to him because Minnesota traded him to Baltimore, and you're that young and you get traded, and you're like, whoa, I thought I had a path to the majors with the Twins looking at the starting pitching. And then he went, whoa, the Orioles are in a really, really good spot. Yeah. And he is the number 2 pitching prospect. He got called up the other day. Well, he got called up yesterday. And he's pitching today at 12:07 as a Baltimore Orioles. So not bad. Spencer Schwallenbach makes his second start yesterday. Didn't go so good at Fenway Park. He's got good stuff. He's going to get sent back to AAA where he'll be able to work on some stuff. But Spencer Schwallenbach's going to have a major league career. Pretty cool. Schwallenbach pitches yesterday at Fenway, and today at the Rogers Center, Povich is going to pitch. And I think Atlanta and Baltimore play each other next week. I don't know if both will still be in the majors, but wouldn't that be something if you had 2 Nebraska pitchers that are opposing each other?
Yeah, one guy used to be the setup or the closer for the other two. Yeah. It's pretty cool situation. I'm happy for Kade. I think it's a much better situation for him to be in Baltimore. They got things rolling up there. I think I saw they're 4-1 against the Blue Jays this season too. So stepping into a really good situation.
Kade Povich, who I knew nothing about Kade Povich until Cox used to do a handful of high school baseball games. And we went to Rodney Field and we did a Bellevue West, Bellevue East game. And Kade is on the mound and he's throwing darts. And I'm like, why is he not being recruited by Nebraska? And got to know his dad. And then they're like, yeah, the interest really hasn't been there for Nebraska. We're going to go to Arizona Western. So he dominated his senior year at Bellevue West. And he goes to Arizona Western. And when Will Bolt got the job, that was the first recruit that he contacted. He's like, how did that guy get away from Nebraska? And, the end of the story, he brings it back to Nebraska, and Kade was fantastic for Nebraska. But his dad, Tim, who a lot of people know, Tim is very active in the message board community. Because they're in Canada, and one of the reasons why Kade got the call, not only because of his golden left arm, is because he has a passport.
That helps.
So his dad, who did not have a current passport, had to fly to Denver yesterday to go to get a passport and then fly into Canada this morning.
That's incredible. Back to the Arizona Western thing. I mean, it's incredible to talk about a guy that's in your backyard that goes the JUCO route and then ends up being your Friday pitcher. Like, that doesn't happen all that often.
Well, it kind of was happening, Jimmy. I mean, the Darren Erstad, Ted Silva era, especially with pitchers, they overlooked some guys, and guys went to junior college and blew up. And then they ended up at Texas A&M or elsewhere. And instead of, okay, they don't fit what we want right now in high school, whether they be for Creighton Prep or Bellevue West, let's still follow them. I give credit to Will and Will's junior college background.
Right.
There are guys that leave here, and Nebraska follows guys if they're at the Division I level or at the junior college to say, you know what, if you go there, get some seasoning, let's continue to talk. They keep an open dialogue and conversation. But, it's a good story because he wanted to pitch at Nebraska and he got the opportunity probably after going to Arizona Western and proving that, I can do this.
Yeah, and you're ace guy and then getting this opportunity today.
Speaking of baseball, last night, must watch the most buzz that maybe the game has gotten in a couple of weeks, maybe all year. Skenes and Show.
I actually watched it because it was on before 8.
2 stations cut in for it too. It was one of those things.
That is, you know what? We need more of that.
Agreed.
I mean, when you get a matchup like that, and because it's a starting pitcher, it's only every 5 days, but we need more of that because there was a buzz last night. People were talking about Skenes throwing over 100 miles, how he got Ohtani in the first at bat, but Ohtani came back and got him in the second at bat. We need more of that. And I wonder if we need the way Paul Skenes has pitched with the Pirates. He's 3-0. He's got a 3 ERA, and he's throwing 49 pitches of 100 miles or more.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, he was 100, 100, 100 in Ohtani's first bat. And by the way, still got Betts before that. Yeah. So he went K on Betts, K on Ohtani, and then he got Freeman to fly out to right.
Yeah,
not a bad inning.
The next Doug Drayback.
Yeah. But does Major League Baseball, like Jimmy A was referring to, there was buzz last night. People were cutting into broadcasts. Do they need Paul Skenes to start the All-Star game?
Mm.
He just got called up. I mean, the All-Star game is, home field advantage is not on the line.
Yeah.
We play for the entertainment. You're playing to promote your game.
People will watch.
People would watch if Paul Skenes was starting the All-Star game. Oh, most definitely they would watch. I loved it last night. I thought it was great for the game.
Done at your All-Star game.
That's true too. With Ohtani not being able to
Good
pitch,
point.
with Ohtani not being able to pitch, it kind of feels like he's the most must-see thing in baseball right now.
I was excited. I enjoyed it.
And we're talking about a guy that's just 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, you're also talking about a game where I agree with you. You throw in Bobby Witt Jr., and I think one of the most exciting players was not having a great year, and now he's out for the year in Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where, how does Major League Baseball promote this? I mean, you cannot ignore what Jimmy C brought up is who his girlfriend is.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's working out well for the NFL.
We don't get a lot of Justin Verlanders and Kate Uptons,
Right.
but we get Skenes, who is
Why isn't he
a beast.
retired?
Verlander?
Yeah.
It pays well.
Yeah, but like
he's going to get traded at the trade deadline. He'll go somewhere to a contender.
I'm just saying, if Kate Upton's at home, I'm not leaving the house. I'm just throwing that. Retirement doesn't look too bad if you're Justin Verlander.
Do I dare say?
Yeah.
I wanted you to sit in today, so it's good that you're not married to Kate Upton.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
All right. Let me get on for the show. Steve Sipple will join us in a couple of hours from on3.com.
Does he have a new suitcase?
Yeah. We'll talk some recruiting again. Big month of June. Nebraska got a good start yesterday. We come back in the next segment. We'll talk about Jamarian Parker, the 6 foot, 198-pound, 4-star running back from St. Louis that became commitment number 9 in the class of 25 for Nebraska. So Sipple stopped by at 8:30. Brian Edwards is in as well. And again, the big news, a Woj bomb this morning that the Lakers are in talks with Dan Hurley. Wow.
And like the way it's being presented,
multi-year offer.
It doesn't even feel like it's in talks. It kind of feels like it's very close to being.
Yeah, I don't think Woj would go there with this because
at 6 a.m.
Hurley would have some splaining to do if you dabble with this and don't, because again, UConn's roster opens up for 30 days. If you're the AD at UConn,
you're full on panic mode right now.
Speaking of people,
or you have a
blazing.
good relationship that when Woj drops a bomb before 6 a.m. Central about your head coach is being pursued by the Lakers and is the front runner, you've already had a conversation and you have your wish list and you've already started that process because a roster, again, that a lot of, there's still some holes open in big boy basketball rosters.
You're going to have to come with them with facts of who you're bringing in.
You lose a guy and a day later you hire a name guy, not to get you through the next year, but to be the next Kevin Ollie and Dan Hurley championship coach of UConn. And then what does that do if it is not just a stopgap for a year? If it is a name person, there goes the next domino. And we're in June.
I know Coach Ben Gordon.
God, don't you love college sports?
I know they're coming off 2 national championships, but is UConn...
You're going to say they're overrated?
No, that destination job still, like
UConn basketball, those got a history.
I know that's why
they got banners. They love basketball.
That's why I'm struggling not to say no automatically, but it's just one of those things that like it's not that sexy warm weather school, and it's just like
global warming.
That's true. I don't know. I just don't know.
You just don't like Stores, Connecticut.
Yeah, screw you.
You're more of a West Coast guy.
It's one of the best jobs in college basketball. I mean, think about it. You're basically in Hartford, and you're outside of New York City, and you've got a super huge national passionate fan base. And oh, by the way, you walk into your home gym, which is always packed, and if it's not, you go down to Hartford and play in a packed arena. You look up in the banners and you go, we had some dudes here.
I guess
we won some titles here.
I guess I was looking at it more from a standpoint of if it's a name guy, if it's somebody that's going to have some clout to their name when you hire them. Is there anybody that's in a worse situation right now that like would it be a step down for anybody that would have that kind of clout? Because it kind of, I don't know, with all the names we've seen leave college basketball recently, if there's anybody that would look at that and say, okay, UConn's a step up from where I am, if we're talking about that big of a name.
I don't know. I think it's one of the top jobs in college basketball.
Okay.
I
think it's a great job.
You are in a really good basketball conference. You're at a school where your sport is number one, at a school that has football. They're a blue blood. They have a lot of money. They have a ton of money.
Yeah, it's
for
true.
You, for your staff,
and for your players.
Mhm.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of the list now.
because when you do it, and if this happens,
I'm not debating that UConn's a good job. I'm thinking about the guys that when we're talking about that name comes to mind, it's a splash hire. Like, who are those guys that are left that like
any guy that is not Kyle Neptune?
Would Nate Oates consider leaving?
No.
See, that's what I mean. That's what
I would call and make him tell me no.
That's a terrible name to throw out there. I'm not being mean. I'm just Nate Oates has a national championship team at Alabama.
Right,
okay?
but that's the type of name that we're talking about when we're talking about UConn going out and getting a name that's going to make a difference, right?
Well,
it's like
Nate
that
Oates
level
isn't the only guy.
Agreed, but I'm trying to think of who that guy would be that you would look at UConn and say, okay, that's a better, because you automatically said no in that situation. And I think if we're talking about a name at that level, that's going to be the reaction.
What about Billy Donovan?
See, and that's the first name I thought about, but
East Coast connection. Whatever
Providence
you do,
guy.
Let me go at it this way, Jimmy. Whatever you do, if your job at UConn is open in the first week in June, your mindset is, we got a great job. This is one of the best jobs in all of college basketball. So we'll be able to attract guys that are not Mark Pope. Okay. So there are tiers.
Yeah.
There are tiers, and Mark Pope would not be in the tier one that the two-time defending national champion would pursue. But you have to hire somebody in that league and look at who they're going against, because the Big East is a really good league for coaches. And you also have to look at what's going on in Philadelphia. And you lost a legend who was a national championship coach, and you replaced him with the guy who you go, whoa.
How long is he going to be here?
So that's why instead of like an internal, you go, we're UConn. We can go get a guy. Now, and then back to Nate Oates, those guys aren't leaving right now. They got a great situation. I mean, Nate Oates is at a football school that is rolling, so he would not be a guy maybe 2 years ago, but I would think about like a Billy Donovan. What about a Brad Stevens?
I thought of Brad Stevens as well,
you know,
especially if they win a championship this year.
But it like
it's going to depend what UConn wants.
Like this was a Woj bomb. I mean, would it surprise anybody if, you know, let's give this a timeline of about a week that this happens. And so Hurley leaves, goes to the Lakers, which still just blows my mind. And
we want to make sure everybody knows that hasn't happened yet.
And UConn makes a hire, and you go, whoa, hey.
They were ready.
You go, wow, jaw dropper.
That's
okay. Everybody in the Big East that was going, here we go, went, dang.
Now we got to compete with that guy. Yeah.
Another name thrown out there. Thank you, Adam. Tommy Lloyd. Now that would be scary in the Big East because of his recruiting ability.
Yeah, I was going to say it's. I mean, you're talking about Dan Hurley's recruiting prowess, which is pretty darn good. That's another stuff.
You kind of just sold me by saying that.
I mean, they'll have a
good list.
They'll have options, and good athletic directors are already ahead of he's had a conversation with Hurley, and you've heard this. I've heard you talk about this. Every athletic director has that piece of paper in their desk drawer that has their top 3 candidates.
Yep.
And maybe that one time they either worked for him, or they've interviewed him, or they've run across him, and they're like, that's a guy that I would hire. Bill Byrne, I will never forget this conversation. And this was the Tom Osborne to Frank Solich transition. And one of the things that Bill would tell you to this day, everything that he accomplished at Nebraska, he didn't get to hire a football coach. That list in his desk, because he said, what happens if one of my coaches gets hit by a bus?
Right.
And I gotta hire a coach immediately. I gotta be prepared. So Bill had, for the major sports, had a list in his desk of the top 3 coaches that he wanted. Mac Brown was on the top of his list for football. So good athletic directors,
there's a sliding door,
all have that list either on paper or in their head of what happens if my coach comes to me and he walks into my office and he goes, hey, Dave, can we talk? And he goes, I'm going to go to the Lakers. And you go, what?
What about those 2 banners we just hung in the last 2 years?
Bill says, what about Gino?
Toretta?
No. They just give Gino just got a 5-year extension on the women's side, right?
You got to wonder if this has had something to do with it, though, right? I mean, this is happening on the men's side, and it's like, okay, we got to make sure we're keeping everybody fat and happy around here. Let's make sure we break out the checkbook, keep our women's coach around.
I can't believe this. This is
incredible, yeah.
So, Woj this morning before 6 a.m. on the day of the NBA Finals drops a massive bomb that the Lakers are preparing to put together a massive long-term offer for Dan Hurley to the NBA. Look at all the Laker coaches that have cycled through there post Phil Jackson.
Say more frequently in the past 10 years.
But haven't they been more college-related than pro? I mean, Mike Krzyzewski, Jay Wright, two legends in the college game that seem like they were always mentioned for the Laker job.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is because it's LA and you need a splash hire and you need a name that's recognizable. And I think that was more the reason those names cycled, because I don't think either one of those guys were ever leaving college for the NBA.
I wouldn't leave to go coach LeBron at the end of LeBron's career.
That's the weird thing about this. That's the weirdest part about
I'd
this.
rather coach Mike James than LeBron James.
It's a situation where you're leaving where you don't know what that roster is going to look like maybe in 1 or even 2 years.
Oh, I know.
Well, you already know who your first-round draft pick is.
Yep. That's true.
Oh, even better.
All right, you can join the conversation. That's the news this morning. The 42-degree The Source hotline.
And here I thought we were going to talk about the Cubs winning the walk-off.
We're going to talk about how bad the White Sox are.
They're not good.
Tough to be a White Sox fan. I don't know a lot of them. I know Nate Klaus is a diehard White Sox fan. Boy, that's rough. I mean, they had 2 balks last night. They've blown a lead in 5 straight games, back-to-back games against the Cubs. They blew a multi-run lead. I don't even know what it's like to be a White Sox fan who's now lost 13 in a row.
And that might not even be the worst run you have this year.
And you might, and before the All-Star break, you might fire your manager and your TV announcer. Boy, he's bad. He's bad. He is really, really bad.
I mean, going from Benetti to that guy.
I was going to say, speaking of jobs that you didn't think were going to come open in that situation, good on him for getting out when he did.
You can always email the show in the Equitable Bank inbox, where they take banking personally, professionally, and they take it all the time. And Doug's got to be like, oh, yeah, we get rid of Hurley. We get rid of Hurley.
You know he's smiling ear to ear today.
Join a lung dart. The man doesn't even smoke.
So the top 5 trends on Twitter right now: Hurley, Stores, Brad Stevens, Shams, shout out Cubs, Mike Tachman, who had the walk-off last night, and Coach K. Gary at 1620thezone.com.
Jimmy Allen, 1620 on Twitter.
That's on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed.
So
you don't want to give out. We've never given you an email address.
I don't work here.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
I got a mailbox out there, but not an electronic
that means
mailbox.
you've arrived.
Yeah.
If you got a mailbox, you've arrived.
You work here more than I work here.
You've got access to the building.
So what I think happened is they gave him a mailbox and Jimmy C, and then they told me that I was getting one because they thought I was getting the producer job, and they felt bad and just left the mailbox out there.
I don't remember you applying for the producer job.
Well, so when Jimmy
neither did I.
When Jimmy got hired, Miss Cynthia congratulated me on getting the morning producer job. So I think there was a memo out that Jimmy was producing the morning show, and everybody just assumed.
Quickie poll question: does Jimmy Chavez and Jimmy Allen look alike?
Get confused often.
You do got a nice little tan going, though.
It's just the lighting in here.
By the way, I got sunburned the crap out of myself yesterday.
You look a little red.
And not just because like pissy.
I don't know what happened either.
No, I'm looking at.
I've got better hair than he does.
Okay.
I did have a gentleman walk up to me in Detroit after the Sweet 16 game. Tell me and Alex Drake how much he loved our show in the midday. So that was nice.
Did he mention what station?
Yeah, he told Alex that he looked a lot taller than he does in camera, and asked where his glasses were, and was dead serious too.
Well,
did you go with it? Because at that point, I would have.
Of course, we did. He may have had a few beers.
I got confused for being Damon one time, so we've all been there.
Loved you in Nebraska.
The J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Gary Sharp 1620.
At Jimmy Allen 1620.
All right, the big news this morning: the Lakers are reportedly in talks with UConn's Dan Hurley, a massive long-term contract to become the team's next head coach. How's JJ Redick feel?
He can go back to sucking on TV.
This is reported first by Woj, a Woj bomb.
Mm-hmm. JJ's making 7 figures doing a crappy podcast. He'll be fine.
How's LeBron feel?
That's probably the bigger question. And is this the first chess move
get out
by
of
the
play-in
Lakers
game for once
to move on from LeBron? Like we're starting to finally think about post-LeBron LA.
Ooh.
Kind of feels like it. It doesn't feel like they've done one thing to prepare for life after LeBron James.
The NBA has been quiet for a week, and then they say, hello.
Good morning, everybody.
We also say hello, and today is an anniversary. It's the 80th anniversary of D-Day that absolutely changed the world. And the sights out of Normandy this morning, whether it be the solemn pictures of the cemetery or some of the other things that they are doing, incredibly moving.
Yeah.
They changed World War II, and they changed the world. And it's the 80th anniversary today of D-Day.
And seeing that
June
beach
6, 1944.
and just knowing what happened there, it's an incredible sight.
I'm a big World War II buff, man. I mean, I could go on and on. They changed the world and they saved lives, and they are heroes. And the men and women that are still alive that were involved in that, it is so cool to see them going back today, and also to tell their stories of what that moment was like when General Eisenhower sent down the orders for it's go time.
Yeah, and you're just, I mean, I can't even imagine the rush in and seeing everything going on around you and just knowing that you got to fight to get there is.
I mean, bravery, patriotism,
moment.
honor, duty, all of that, the sacrifices that were made. You'll never forget that day. And today is the 80th anniversary of D-Day. We're off and running. When we come back, we'll shift gears a little bit. We will talk about Nebraska's start to the June recruiting cycle. Did they get a real running back?
Sure looks
last night. We'll get into that when we come back. Jimmy Allen, Jimmy Chavez, I'm Gary. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in at 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Darian. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Introducing Modern Real Estate, the game changer in Nebraska's property market. With a competitive 2% commission rate, we're making buying, selling, and investing more affordable and transparent than ever. Our experienced agents blend local expertise with cutting-edge technology to provide top-notch personalized service to all clients. Don't settle for less when you can save big without compromising. Visit modernrealestateco.com and experience the future of real estate today. Modern Real Estate, redefining the way you do real estate.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
I wasn't specifically talking to you.
No, I was ducking over here.
That's that can be the famous last words of Danny Hurley at the Chai if he leaves UConn and goes to the NBA. People are pointing out on Twitter that is from the Creighton perspective, this is not a happy day, but a sad day because of the success of Creighton against Danny Hurley.
I was going to say the last time that the Huskies came to the Chai, they left losers. People forget.
Was only beaten Creighton twice.
Yep.
Never won here. 0-4 all time on the road against Creighton.
Twice is the number one, once is the number one team. That's right.
Since they've been in the Big East. But the news this morning, if you're just waking up and joining us, good morning. That's Jimmy Allen. Jimmy Chavez is here as well. A Woj bomb this morning before 6 that the Lakers and Danny Hurley from UConn have escalated conversations to become the next head coach. Were you surprised when Billy Donovan left to go to Chicago?
No, because then it kind of made sense. So you're at the end of the run, you had that team from 2006 come back for one more season, and there was a lot of holes left on that roster, and it was gonna kind of be a rebuild anyway. They had a lot of depth and a really good bench, and a few key guys. To your point, you brought up Alex Caravan earlier coming back to UConn. It felt like they just had things rolling. Like there was some question marks about that 2008 Florida team, even if Billy Donovan did come back. With this UConn team, it felt like they were just going to be rolling again.
But Jimmy, did it surprise you because of where he went? Like,
That's a good point.
I'm a little bit surprised.
That is surprising.
I'm surprised on this news, but then I think
it's the
Lakers. You're absolutely right. It's one of the top brands of all sports. It is the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron or not. It is the Lakers. He's 51. You know, he could go to the NBA. Try it, doesn't work out. He's still young enough to come back because you've had Calipari, Pitino, Lon Kruger, Hamilton,
Billy Donovan.
Remember when Billy Donovan, Brad Stevens, we thought would come back, never came back. He's still, getting ready for the NBA Finals tonight as the guy that's running the show behind the scenes for the Celtics,
which was such a weird move. Still, I still was really, even when it happened,
I'll tell you one of the weirder moves. From the college to the pro and coming back to college. Remember Mike Montgomery?
Oh, yeah.
Super successful. Then went to the Golden State Warriors, wanted to see about being in the NBA, and his career was never the same. And he was a highly successful college coach.
But you have to wonder if that's it's the premier job in your sport. It's not even the best college job. It's the premier job of any basketball coach to go to LA and be able to be the head coach of the Lakers. That's got to be when we talk about the reasons you leave, obviously number one is your checkbook, but number two is getting a lot of exposure, and it opens up a lot of opportunities.
All right. So the NBA finals are tonight and the Lakers are part of the discussion. Damn LeBron. LeBron just could not go without anybody talking about him or the Los Angeles Lakers. Big story today.
Watch, this isn't even true. LeBron's just trying to get a couple headlines.
Narcissists do narcissist things.
It would work. It's working.
How awkward will it be with JJ Redick on the broadcast tonight? Do you think Mike Breen goes, bang, Danny Hurley?
Please do that. I didn't think there was a whole lot of smoke to that JJ Redick thing anyway. It just felt like a way for the Lakers to stay relevant at the most important time of the year. Would that have been the most disappointing hire they could have made? Because, I mean, I think this is the complete opposite. I don't think anybody saw this coming. But J.J. Redick, a guy that's never coached basketball.
Well, look at the recent hires.
Premier job in the NBA.
Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it has not been like a whoa. Even though Frank Vogel has been a successful NBA coach and now fired with the Lakers, fired with the Suns.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out.
The time in Indiana was really, really good. Let's shift to some football. So yesterday was a big day for Nebraska. Jamarian Parker, running back from St. Louis, 4-star, kicks off the month of June for Nebraska, saying yes. Playmaker, he's electric. You watch his film. He's got great speed.
He hits the corner.
There's a lot of elements here because of where he's from, but maybe even more in a position which Nebraska has to have a running back. Didn't get a running back last year in the recruiting cycle. Had to go to the portal.
Yeah, the loss of Lacey was a huge deal.
I think he's the real running back, but I'm gonna be the opposite guy here. I'm gonna take a different tone.
Sure.
Because about this time last year, I was golfing, and I got a text on my phone that there is a commitment of a player that you like is coming, and I was like, Kwan Lacey, and they were like, yeah. So Kwan Lacey committed to Nebraska, and I went, Nebraska's got their running back. That guy's a dude. He can do everything. And then, the process, because Nebraska's in a situation where they get in guys early and they make an offer and they either get a commitment or more offers from other schools come and they go, well, if Nebraska offered him, it's like Olive Garden is always near a Target because, people go to Target. So, hey, got to go eat. So Olive Garden. So, and that's why the Walgreens and the CVSs are always kind of like right next to each other. So Nebraska gets in on early on players, and then some schools will go, they will back up Nebraska's offer, and they'll go, oh, we haven't really seen this guy, but here you go. Kwan Lacey was that guy. I went, whoa, here we go. And then, as things transpired and he's not in your backyard where you can't keep an eye on him, other people are kicking the tires, they're in his ear. He commits to another school and then eventually flips and ends up at Mizzou. So I think it's a good pickup, but this, and I'm not saying that he's gonna waver, but I got burned last year. I'm making this personal. I'm just gonna be about me.
But I gotta ask.
We got burned last year. Hold on, but if you get to the finish line, and there's nothing out there that says you won't, this is a really, really good addition to the class of 25.
Does it make you any more weary that he's already flipped a commitment once? And obviously,
good question. But
2 points. He flips the commitment, but also he gets the offer from Alabama and still gives Nebraska the yes.
Yeah.
I think that's
no.
important.
I mean, and Nebraska is going to beat Alabama twice here.
Yeah,
because Dawson Merritt's going to commit to Nebraska. Put that on the board. And it could happen within the week. He's got the visit to Alabama this weekend. I think the one flip is because of a change of a coach.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I can live with that. Now, here's why maybe this is not Kwan Lacey part 2. Is Nebraska developed a relationship quickly because when he announced his final 7, Parker did not have Nebraska in his final 7. And E.J. Barthel and the staff and Dvorak, who is in charge of the state of Missouri and recruiting on Nebraska's staff, they did a really good job to build a relationship and then quickly move that relationship along. So maybe he's not Kwan Lacey part 2. I hope not, because he's a guy of need, and I like a lot of the things about him, what could be. Because you watch his film, he's played at a high level in St. Louis. So, like, you watch offensive line and who they're playing against, it is fairly legit. It's not like you're playing, C2 football.
He's playing big whip football, yeah.
C2 football in the middle of Kansas or whatever. But he's the real running back. I think that was a good start to this month. That was a good pickup for Nebraska. Definitely is a must-have position.
Yeah, John Schreiner made this comparison last night, and I wholly agree with him. It looks like Maurice Washington 2.0. I mean, the way he gets the corner, his length, how long his arms are, just his body type is something Nebraska's been missing for a long, long time. And if you can give me Maurice Washington on the field without the off-the-field issues, you get yourself a winner.
He did make a comment as he did the car wash with the recruiting websites for Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
He's been here, so he's familiar with Nebraska. I guess he did he do a little diss on the Nebraska running back room?
He said that he looks like there's a path for him or whatever.
He goes, I'm a different running back. I'm not like them.
Okay. Yes, I think there was a little jab there, but when you look at that room, nobody's really like anybody else though either.
But was he speaking the truth?
He's not wrong. I mean, you've got a lot of talent in that room. I don't know if you have a lot of difference makers in that room. Yeah, you have a bunch of guys that are really good at what they do, but they're not going to get you over the top.
That's why I thought Quan Lacey was such a huge pickup.
Which is why the reason I was so surprised he flipped in the first place, because it looked like there was a clear path for him to be a guy that can contribute right away.
There is another element of getting a 4-star running back of where he is from, and that being St. Louis, that we will touch on.
Struggled in, yeah.
Well, there's a couple of reasons that we'll discuss, but Nebraska has, like St. Louis is the white whale. Like we're chasing Moby Dick, and I don't think Moby was white, right?
No, I think he was. I believe he was a gray whale.
St. Louis is one of those things. Like we've had more discussion about Emo's Pizza and Ted's Custard in St. Louis, and Nebraska's need to stay in St. Louis. That I had to take Excedrin because I got a migraine from talking about it so much. And Nebraska has flirted with success there, but there's a lot of schools that are in St. Louis that are recruiting. That's a great high school area that has been good to Nebraska, hasn't been as plentiful of late. But even with the in-state school that is a beast and where Mizzou is going, you look at last year, Nebraska got down. You remember Ryan Wingo?
Yeah.
The 5-star wide receiver out of St. Louis? Nebraska
part of
got
that Brandon Baker, Nate Frazier contingency.
Nebraska got way down the path late with him, where on signing day last December, you remember he like overslept.
Yeah.
Where was he going to go? He ended up at Texas, but he did end up at Texas, right?
Yes.
Nebraska had gotten like in the mix, and you were like, "Whoa!"
Well, that was the rumor when he quote unquote overslept. Is Nebraska coming in at the 11th hour to get this flip back? And obviously the Dylan Raiola effect probably had a little bit to do with that. A little bit of insight here. Moby Dick was based on a real whale who was actually an albino white whale, but concept art shows him in a gray coloring. So I guess we were both right. There you go.
Thank you.
One piece of novel history.
Thank you. Did you know, hey, Jimmy C., did you know that Jimmy A. is a Moby Dick expert?
I did not know he knew his dick.
There's this new cool website called Google where you can type things in and get answers. I think that's your new show promo.
Or whales or whatever.
This is the version of Jimmy C. that don't give an F.
Yeah, welcome back. We missed you, buddy.
He'll settle back in.
Yeah. Will he?
86 days.
We got an update coming up with
Happy
Jimmy
June
Chavez
6th, everybody.
here in just a moment. Again, the big news this morning dropped by Woj is that the Lakers and Danny Hurley are discussing the opening, and the Lakers are prepared, according to Woj, to have a massive long-term contract offer to bring the back-to-back national champion college basketball coach to the NBA.
Dan Hurley might be making Gary Sharp money. Difference maker.
Will that fix my check your engine light that's on in my car right now that I just recently bought?
Dan Hurley might be able to buy you 3 new cars if he gets this check.
Update with Jimmy coming up. Plus, we've got to say something nice about every team in the Big Ten. We'll do 9 of them.
Gross.
I don't know, you're going to feel dirty.
I already do.
I can do this. I can lie through my teeth like none other.
Like I just hate everything about PJ Fleck. And I was looking at Minnesota and I was like, I like the color purple. Like,
see, I'll do you one bit. They had Prince.
You like that movie,
Good
huh?
people.
Yeah. That was a really good movie.
Purple Rain.
Good state.
Can we come
fair.
back to Purple Rain on the other side of the break? Can I make a request?
You can make a request. Doesn't
Hey,
mean I'll honor
Mr.
it.
DJ.
Wish in one hand, crap in the other, and tell me which one fills up first.
How about those Storm Chasers and Union Omaha? Jimmy's got an update coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Hope your Thursday is off to a great start today. almost to the weekend. And if you are heading out soon for your morning commute, good news, the roads in the metro are looking pretty good right now. No accidents, obstructions, or any slow-moving traffic that has come in. Look for traffic to pick up a little bit in the next hour or so. Stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Lanahaw Nurseries.
No better time than now to focus on your garden or landscape. Come shop Lanahaw's Garden Center, filled with the area's best quality plants, flowers, and trees. Rooted in quality, unmatched value. Lanahaw Nurseries, 192nd and Center.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote 1-800-670-5151. That's 1-800-670-5151. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-670-5151. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Email us on the Equitable inbox with whatever is on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can hit me up, agree, disagree, tell me your thoughts on life at Handley at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
Well, fine. I didn't need any cute intro thingy thing. I just didn't forget to put it in. Sue me. Nick Prado delivered an RBI single right to score John Ray from second base with 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth to give the red-hot Storm Chasers a 3-2 win over Memphis last night at Werner Park. Told you it was going to be a really nice night. It was. Memphis tied it at 2-2 with a run at the top of the eighth, but in the ninth, Ray led off with a double in the right field corner, and after the next two batters made outs, they were shunned for doing so, but that's okay because Derek Mann was intentionally walked to set the stage for Prado's game winner as Ray beat the throw at the plate. I believe it was puppy night at the park, so all the dogs went crazy and was just running around, tails wagging. Woof, woof.
There were not a lot of dogs there last night. We almost had a fight last night. We had the benches clear.
Ooh. No, I thought you meant the stands. Okay.
No, it's not an NFL game.
No, so
Omaha people are nice.
Starting pitcher for Memphis tossed a ball into the stands. Like he didn't throw it, but he lobbed it because he wanted to throw it out of play, and it ended up in the stands next to the Storm Chaser dugout.
Oh.
But him and Drew Waters in 2 at-bats, he kept throwing him inside, and he almost hit Drew Waters. Waters slams his bat down and starts walking towards the mound, and the bench is empty. Nobody threw any punches, and they were able to separate him.
Was Marty out there with a squeegee holding people off?
Actually, Marty was in the stands.
Oh, wow.
Enjoying a game.
Some fans were giving him the business because
Marty?
So the pitcher for Memphis,
the nicest guy on
pitcher
the
for
planet.
Memphis, just trying to throw the ball away, like off the mound, like over where the bat boy sits, threw it into the stands. Like it was on a lob. It wasn't this Wichita State Evansville thing.
It wasn't Randy
Way back
Johnson
in the
killing
day.
a bird.
No. So the umpires get together. They throw out the Memphis pitcher.
Okay.
The Memphis manager goes nuts. So everybody's still out on the field. And then they start hitting, even the guys from the bullpen are lingering out in the outfield. And they go back to the bullpen. Everybody goes back to their dugout. So this pitcher for Memphis, the clubhouses are out in left field. So it's not like you go in the dugout and your clubhouse is behind the dugout. He has to walk from the first base dugout all the way to the clubhouse. He walks over to where he threw the ball into the stands, and he taps his chest and he says, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And fans were giving him the business. Like he truly
he didn't mean to.
No, he didn't mean to. It was by accident. But then he walked right in front of the Storm Chaser dugout. Like not on the grass, but on the dirt, right where the guys are hanging out on the railing.
Start jarring.
No,
they give him the DX.
He didn't. The pitcher didn't say anything, but then Mike Jerschley, the manager of the Storm Chasers, pops out of the dugout, and he's livid that the pitcher walked right in front of their dugout, and the umpire throws him out.
They threw Jersch out for that?
Yeah.
Listen, there's a lot of space you could walk. I think Jersch did the right thing. That's
right. Storm Chasers are really good.
They're 41-16.
They're not littered with prospects, but they're 25 games over 500
and really well coached.
Yeah, they've won 8 in a row, 13 of 14. They're back home again tonight against Memphis, but that's 2 straight nights. Something has almost happened because in the 9th inning on Tuesday night, there was a play at first base where Victor Scott, who is one of the top prospects in the Cardinals organization, didn't think that Nick Prado gave him much of first base and was chirping at him. And Prado says, "Get your back in the dugout." And then you have that incident last night. So what I'm saying is you never know what you're going to see at Warner Park tonight.
And you
Go
can
buy a
see
ticket.
tonight, buy a ticket. And if you see Marty, be nice to him. Christ, who would give him the business?
Yeah, he said he was getting heckled in the stands as he came to try and calm things down.
I'd say, "Good evening. Thanks for having us out. We had fun. My mental health is good now because of this team."
Was there a better night to watch a baseball game than last night? I was staying outside with my daughter.
It was windy.
Was it?
Yeah.
It wasn't in Papillion. It was about as calm.
The Papillion
as
Dome?
Yeah. It's beautiful out.
I mean, today is supposed to be a beautiful day.
Yeah. Very nice. See, not
Has
so
the rain
negative. Pretty.
stopped?
What rain? No rain. Only rain in the heart. Morning Woj Bomb in the NBA. Yes, there's a game tonight, but leave it to ESPN's Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James to make the day all about them. The Lakers are targeting Omaha's favorite Dan Hurley, Blue Crew's laughing, as the franchise's next coach, and are preparing a massive long-term contract offer to bring the back-to-back national champion coach to the NBA. The Lakers have had preliminary contact with Hurley, and the sides are planning to escalate discussions in the coming days. Hurley's been at the forefront of the Lakers' search from the beginning of the process, even while the organization has done its due diligence, interviewing several other candidates. Fast forward 3 years, look forward to Dan Hurley going back to college after LeBron gets another coach fired. Lakers Vice President of Basketball Operations and General Manager Rob Pelinka and Governor Jeannie Buss are eager to formally discuss with Hurley their vision of marrying his dominant program built upon his tactical acumen. Is this basketball or war? Anyway, Celtics and Mavericks open the finals tonight in Boston. My very worst of both teams will enjoy watching it thoroughly, hoping for 7 games, all watched on mute. Paul Skenes struck out 8 over 5 innings. Aroldis Chapman threw the fastest pitch in the majors this season, and the Pirates beat Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers 10-6. Last night, a preview of the NLCS, Skenes allowed 3 runs on 6 hits, including a 2-run shot by Ohtani in the third. The 22-year-old rookie and a significant other of the zone's Livy Dunn also struck out the Los Angeles superstar with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball in the first inning, one of 28 pitches thrown by Skenes, who then told Ohtani, put a bet on that. Houston started. Oh, yeah. Season's over for my team. I may have gotten a rainbow jersey on my journey. However, it doesn't matter because I might as well go pitch for the team because Houston starters Christian Javier and Jose Urquidy are both scheduled to have right elbow surgery. A big blow to an Astros team trying to rebound. They're not rebounding for it. Their season's over. General Manager Dana Brown made the announcement Wednesday saying Urquidy will have surgery Wednesday while Javier is set for Thursday and the season's ending is set for Friday. Both players will miss the entire season and part of next season if Tommy John surgery is needed. The typical recovery from it is 12 to 18 months. Recovery from the internal whatever. I got 2 championships. I'll bang my trash can. 2 middle fingers. I enjoyed every one of them. The Astros are already dealing with injuries to the rotation starters Luis Garcia. Lance McCullers not pitching yet this season and not expected to return until after the All-Star break. But Dana Brown, the GM, says he believes the Astros rotation, which is led by Justin Verlander, soon to be pitching for one of your favorite teams, and Framber Valdez will be just fine despite the injuries because Hunter Brown, Spencer Arrighetti, and Ronel Blanco have filled in nicely. And so have Mike Scott, Mark Portugal, Bob Nepper. Just do this all day.
How much did you miss him?
Would you believe that all last week I was in just a happy? I was like Disney.
I think we got you halfway there today. You're much happier than when you walked in.
You'd be a White Sox fan.
True.
That's true.
And I'm not.
You
So
could be a White Sox.
You had Hawk Harrelson, and now you get this. And actually, it is a beautiful day, Jimmy. Look at how blue that sky is today.
No, weather-wise, it's supposed to be beautiful today.
81.
Yeah.
Low humidity.
And it's also a day that we honor the greatest generation on the 80th anniversary of D-Day.
And now we wear socks and Crocs.
Thank you for that update.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Sipple's coming up in a little bit.
Speaking of socks and Crocs.
In our well, what's your your summer attire, maybe less living here in the Midwest, is flip-flops. But I notice in the summer, more people wear Crocs than flip-flops.
I have to.
Has Crocs overtaken flip-flops as the shoe
worn
of summer?
Crocs a day in my life.
We need to ask somebody young.
Have I ever told you my favorite Michael Severe moment?
You have not.
Okay.
But
so
I'm sure you're going to share it now, and I can't wait.
I am. So we're doing the College World Series together. We're doing one of the pregame shows. And a gentleman walks by us in flip-flops and had some toe situations. We'll just put it that way. And I had brought up that people were making interesting decisions to wear clothing attire. And Michael goes, yeah, and just stares at my feet. I'm wearing flip-flops. He goes, I don't think I'd ever wear flip-flops. And I'm just like, oh, all right. Thanks, man.
Poor Jimmy Allen.
Yeah, some people are turned off by the open-toed.
Yeah, he said he would with socks. He said he was a socks and flip-flops guy. But
oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, Severe is like 79 years old.
Yeah.
He's got an old soul. No, socks with flip-flops? Are they? Well,
slides.
Here's how things have changed.
That's different. True.
They don't call them flip-flops anymore. It's slides.
Yeah.
Like somebody was giving me a pair of slides this winter, and they're like, hey, do you want a pair of slides? And I'm like,
well, I believe the difference between a slide to flip-flop. A flip-flop has the toe piece.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I'm loyal to the flip-flop. I will not wear a Croc.
I couldn't picture that.
Have you ever referred to them as thongs? I know some people refer to the flip-flops with the toes as thongs.
Yeah. Above a certain age.
But I lived in a beach community where
that means something different.
Yeah, when you live in a beach, when you live in a Cisco ain't showing up.
My my in-laws are currly in St. Augustine this week.
That was a great song. Well, how come we never followed up the thong song?
He had that dog
he
song.
Had silver hair. My in-laws are in St. Augustine right now, and my mother-in-law told me she's never seen more asses in her life. So I was like, oh, congratulations.
I don't know what that says about her nightlife, but how do you respond to that?
My father-in-law is having a good time.
See, the thing about that part of Florida is
there's a mentality read in there somewhere.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. I mean, the thong is for you.
She said the Speedos are aplenty as well.
So, yeah,
with a beer gut in tow.
Yeah,
that wasn't the case at my pool yesterday.
The boiler over the Speedo probably doesn't work for me.
When I lived in Daytona,
I can guarantee you that you will never ever see me. I've never worn a Speedo.
I would prefer not to see you in a Speedo.
No room.
When I lived in Daytona, there was this guy that walked across our bridge every day that looked like a fat Hulk Hogan, and he always wore a Speedo for
That's
his jog.
A lot of older men in Florida.
Yeah.
that are baked beyond belief.
Yeah, and just long blonde hair, but nothing on the top of his head. And Probably pushing 350.
Maybe it was.
It could have been.
Go Gators.
Somebody went to spring break in Daytona and never left.
Happens a lot.
It does. Thanks, Jimmy. When we come back, on that note, we got to say something nice. So this is Say Something Nice Day for the next 2 days.
PJ Fleck doesn't look like fat Hulk Hogan.
teams.
That's what I'm going to say nice about him.
Can you imagine PJ Fleck with a boiler?
You can pull it off.
About 10, 15
I don't know.
years.
There's a guy that I don't think will ever be out of shape.
Yeah, sprint down to the sidelines every other quarter. You're going to do it for you.
But for the next 2 days, we're going to say 18 nice things about 18 teams in the Big Ten.
It can be done.
We'll do that when we come back. Plus, we will get into the discussion as Nebraska got their 9th commitment yesterday, but they got him out of St. Louis and the significance of St. Louis. And the big news this morning, if you're just tuning in, Woj, I think Woj had it before Shams, and now they're in the middle of a street in New York City duking it out, that the Lakers are preparing a massive offer to lure Danny Hurley to the NBA from Storrs, Connecticut. Remember, Bill Murray's son is on that staff. If there would be an interim head coach, would it be Bill Murray's son?
Would it be Bill Murray?
They got a couple of good assistants. Murray and Young are really good assistants, but we'll see what happens because you also got to remember when Hurley leaves, there's a 30-day window that any player on the UConn roster can say, like a fat kid in dodgeball, I'm out. It's mornings, Sharp and Handley. Jimmy Allen sitting in for Nick. There's Jimmy Chavez at 1620 The Zone. Hey, the big baseball event coming up here in a little over a week. And how would you like to go to the game with no hassle? You want to go to a site to grab tickets that doesn't have service fees. And you get through the experience and you go, this is wonderful. I've got it for you. It is ticketsforless.com. Your place to go with no per ticket fees. Their commitment to excellence. They are the cheapest you're going to find, the best seats, the delivery is fast, all of the things you want when you're looking for seats and you don't want the hassle. Ticketsforless.com, easy site, great value, just fantastic all the way around. I've used it, and if you use it now to find your tickets to that big baseball event or Nebraska football tickets are up right now on ticketsforless.com. Don't forget to use my promo code THEZONE. That's my thank you for using Tickets for Less to get your seats to the sports, the concerts, the theater. Ticketsforless.com. No per ticket fees. And then when you get to checkout, just use my promo code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com.
The Connor Happer Show.
Grant Bricks' smile.
Yeah, what do you think's going on?
It's very big.
That looks like a guy who's just happy he ate 21 tacos.
He really does look pleased with himself.
The sunglasses, the giant sombrero, the whole thing. That guy walked over there from his house. I'd like to all-you-can-eat tacos, please. And then he just said, keep them coming.
We're back, baby. The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Another day with sunny skies. Thursday, though, quite breezy with northwest wind gusting around 30 miles per hour. Mild with highs around 80. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. A crash has been reported at the intersection of 110th and I Street. If you are approaching that intersection, just proceed cautiously at this time. May run into some minor delays there. No other accidents to report, and traffic flow looking pretty good right now in the Omaha Metro. Traffic will pick up here in the next hour. Just remember to stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Mario Street Tacos or steak and chorizo queso blanco enchiladas can only be found in one place. Fernando's. Great Mexican food, awesome margaritas, and a wonderful family atmosphere. Fernando's, Omaha's favorite Mexican for more than 30 years.
There's a great selection of more than 125 pre-owned vehicles and certified pre-owned Acuras to choose from right now at Acura of Omaha. See all the bargains online at AcuraofOmaha.com or stop by the dealership at 4211 South 144th Street.
It's golf season, and that means it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa. It's sports betting the way it should be. The odds makers with the lowest holds and the best odds for every tournament. Plus, high betting limits, exceptional customer service, and more. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Get ready for all the biggest golf tournaments with Circa Sports Iowa. Visit circasports.com today. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Funplex has asked me to give you a first-hand account of the all-new for 2024 Wipeout attraction. Okay, hit it. We're starting up. Spinning a little now. Whoa, a lot. The centrifugal force is starting to stretch my face. Holy this thing's fast. Whoa, it's tilting. We have tilting. Woohoo, this is awesome. You got to try this. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today. O'Reilly Auto Parts.
With Verizon, now everyone can get our best phone deals.
Even if I'm new?
Even if you're new.
What if I've been with Verizon forever?
Oh, yeah. You see, new and existing customers get the amazing iPhone 15 with tons of storage on us. With any iPhone trade, any model, any condition. Guaranteed with unlimited ultimate.
Here's one. What if?
That's a yes. There's a deal out there for everyone. Only at Verizon. $829.99, 128 gigabyte only device payment or full retail purchase with new or upgrade smartphone line on unlimited ultimate plan. Minimum $90 a month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Less $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Promo credit ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. 0% APR. Trade-in terms apply.
Looking for tickets to the hottest events? Look no further than Tickets for Less. TFL has tickets to everything from college baseball championships to Husker football concerts and more, all with no hidden fees. Plus, score extra savings with promo code TheZone now at ticketsforless.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back in on a Thursday, the 6th of June. Glad to have you in. Glad to have Jimmy Allen in for the next couple of mornings. Jimmy Chavez. I'm Gary Sharp. Big news this morning. Woj, first to do it. Shams followed it up. Could UConn's Dan Hurley be headed to the NBA to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers? That is what Woj is reporting, that the Lakers are preparing a massive offer for Danny Hurley to go from UConn to the Los Angeles Lakers. A news announced before 6 a.m. on the day of the NBA Finals.
Usually mean it's well down the road.
What's more likely, that the Lakers take Bronny James or Andrew Hurley with the 17th overall pick?
Good point. Good point. And are they very similar? 951-1620.
Is Hurley the better player?
One observation, just listening to the chatter, and I'm looking forward to watching Dallas and Boston in this series. I think it's got the potential to go 6. There's a lot of storylines.
Excited about Luka, Jimmy?
Me? Why wouldn't I be? He's my kind of guy. Who doesn't want to pound some beers after you win and have Michael Finley take it?
Because you're a Spurs fan.
Here.
How many championships do they have, and how many do my team have?
Yeah, well,
come back to me when they win 4 more.
We'll
gotta stop poking the bear this morning.
I love.
Is
Luka,
there a real discussion going on right now? And this is prior to winning your first NBA title. Dirk Nowitzki is the best Mav of all time, right?
Absolutely. It's not even debatable.
Okay, now if Luka gets a title, he matches Dirk, but Dirk Nowitzki right now, as we speak, is the best Dallas Maverick of all time. Correct?
Right above Popeye Jones.
Okay.
Who would you put? Who were you?
Well, there's a lot of.
You want a top 5 Mavericks?
I guess Jason
be.
Kidd was talking yesterday and was asked a similar question, and he kind of forgot about Dirk.
Oh, damn, his own teammate.
That won him an NBA title.
Did he at least remember the great Rolando Blackman?
I remember watching that.
Brad Davis?
Yeah. I remember watching that 2011 championship.
Roy Tarpley?
It just felt like the Heat were going to get on this run to come back, and then Dallas in that closeout game just could not miss shots in those last 5 minutes. And I remember watching Dirk after they won the Western Conference Finals. Like, he walked off the floor without even touching the trophy. And when he was talking in the media, he was like, "I have one of those. I'm putting it at the Western Conference trophy." It was like, he's like, "This isn't a celebration for me." And I knew it was going to be a different scenario after that. He just looked like a different player.
I was in the building that night.
Were you?
It was a terrible experience.
What happened?
The Dallas beat Miami.
Oh,
and they won the title in Miami. To see a opposing team celebrate a world championship on your floor.
I'd have two middle fingers extended.
I worked with a guy.
I'll double down.
I worked with
on
a guy that was from Dallas, and so he's a diehard Mavs fan.
Be a Cowboys fan because that's how you can always turn it back over.
The series prior, Miami won on June 20th, and which is my birthday. And
Happy birthday!
Thank you. I was sitting there watching it, and like Shaq referred to the June 20th date like 6 times during the celebration. I was like, just keep rubbing it in, man. Thanks, appreciate
June
it.
20th, 2006.
All right, say something nice day, which is Jimmy Chavez daily.
Yeah, always.
So we're gonna have 18 teams. We've been told that
GFY.
Apparently 1620 the zone disses every school not named Nebraska.
Have you ever come out with a diss track, Gary?
No.
Okay.
I got too much else going on. I don't have time for a diss
I think that's
track.
what the world needs. A
No,
Gary
it doesn't.
Sharp diss track.
I don't think there really
Who would it be
anybody on
about? Who would be the first victim?
I don't know. If I would have done it like
Colorado?
15 years ago, I would have had a lot. Now,
Would Dirk Nowitzki make the
now
list?
I'm like, whatever. The world keeps moving on.
You don't have a Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Nope.
Okay.
See, Gary just gave me life advice here.
What's that?
Low key, just what he said.
Oh,
move
Just
on.
keep it moving.
Okay.
I mean, why spend energy on people that suck the life out of you?
G Sharp, LIVIN.
That was the that's how I told people how my marriage ended. Why hang out with people that suck the life out of you?
Preach, my brother.
Hey, brother in arms, man.
And this is why I missed being here.
Do you want to start off, sir? Say something nice about those two people, or should we move on to the Big Ten?
I'll be honest. I know that it's been long past. I can't say anything nice, so I just don't say anything.
We
Except
will
when
move on
people
to
ask.
the next segment.
All right,
because I'm in the same boat.
Ohio State. Say something nice about Ohio State.
I think they have the most talented team roster in the country, and I don't even know if Will Howard is their day one starter. Between Julian Sand and Aaron Nolan coming into campus, I think they have the most talented roster, despite not knowing who their starting quarterback is going to be.
Lots of talent. They dot the I. Great support to go to a game there.
We like trombones.
They have an elite roster. They might have one of the best rosters that they've had in a decade.
Yeah.
What money can buy and what recruiting can do for you. And this will be the year that they beat Michigan. Really, that's all that matters.
Apparently.
And then once you get to that game and you do what you do in that game, then you can move on. More likely, Columbus is hosting a playoff game or Ohio State is on the road for their first playoff game.
First one.
Now, the on the road could mean two things.
No, they'll be on the
Ohio
road.
State had a bad year, so they don't get a home game, or they have to go on the road because they're a top 4 seed.
Yeah, they'll be a top 4 seed. They'll be
Which
point.
I love that we're having home games now that the playoff schedule was announced yesterday.
I hate this structure though.
Why do we screw over the top 4 seeds?
This literally only
they become the 4 best teams in college football. Well, other teams get to host. The top 4 have to go play a neutral site game.
This literally only benefits Notre Dame.
Well-
Notre Dame is the only true winner in that whole scenario because they get a bye by not having to play by playing a conference championship.
Absolutely.
And because of that, they can host a game on their campus.
I am right there with you. That was some of the best news that they could have gotten when they came out with the playoff structure.
Yeah.
Washington.
They have a really good
Greatest setting.
They have a really good chance of starting 5-0. Weber State, Eastern Michigan, Washington State, Northwestern, and at Rutgers. They don't leave the state of Washington until week 6. It starts off favorable in a very big rebuild year.
Love going to a game in Seattle. They'll fit in the Big Ten. I'm just throwing niceness all around.
The Space Needle.
Overrated, but nice.
I think it's going to be a choppy year, but I have to see something nice. I think Kellen DeBoer has raised the expectations at Washington.
There you go.
And that's a good thing for
Absolutely.
Washington football because Washington football has had their bits and pieces of success, but there's a program you've always looked at and you've gone, man, shouldn't they be better? Shouldn't they be consistently better? When Chris Peterson is there, they should have more than one playoff appearance. And that one playoff appearance where you get crushed by Alabama.
Yeah, it wasn't even competitive.
I love the addition for the Big Ten, but I
think Jeff Fish is a really good coach. So I just think it's going to take a little while.
Well, I mean, look at the abundance of talent that they left. They lost NFL guys and your head coach, but that guy that left to go to Tuscaloosa has raised the expectations, and that's a positive thing. on Mount Lake. Minnesota, your favorite. You need to answer that?
There should be
You
a
and
sense
PJ have the same hair.
almost the same thing that you just said about Washington. There needs to be a sense of urgency. Like there needs to be higher expectations. 5-7 a year ago, backed their way into a bowl game. They were lucky to even win 5 games. The Jeff Sims probability at the beginning of the season probably changes that. Only won 4 games last year. We're probably talking about PJ Fleck being on the hot seat, if not maybe gone.
With the exception of last year, PJ's been pretty consistent at Minnesota. They haven't won 11 games,
with
12 games, but they're
with
there.
that personality.
They'll be back.
You got to win, and
you got to be elite. Isn't that what he said?
You've got to, and he did not.
So
thank goodness for that Motor City Bowl.
Before I say something positive about Minnesota, yeah, they were 6-7 last year, and that was on the heels of 2 9-win seasons. I'm not ready to bury PJ yet, but their win total is 5.5, and a lot of people think that's way too high. That is one of those win totals that across the board, a lot of people believe that Minnesota will be under. You're right. This is a big year. This is a big year at Minnesota because of the transition. One thing about Minnesota is they are never dull. There is always something going on. But until there's a trend of bad football year after year, PJ Fleck can still coach. And he's going to have one of the top running backs in the Big Ten and in the country if he stays healthy in Darius Taylor.
I think they'll be back this year, meaning they won't be 5-7.
It'll be
6
odd.
6, 7
It'll be
5.
odd not playing Minnesota this year.
I know. I hate it.
Story rivalry.
If it wasn't for Fleck, we probably wouldn't pay much attention to Minnesota this year
at all. Yeah. Mm-mm. Does it surprise you they only did the one, the limited schedule they gave for guaranteed games? It felt like it was going to be closer to 2 or 3 when they made the announcement of the expansion. Oh. And then you only have just a handful of games between long-term rivals.
No, because they will, I think, do the schedule according to TV.
Yeah, clearly.
New normal.
Penn State.
They got a great new OC.
They have a really favorable schedule. I mean, you have you're at USC and Ohio State at home, are the only games that you may not be favored in. Both UCLA and Washington have to come to Happy Valley. Things stack up for you this year when you don't have to play Michigan to maybe get over that hump, get to a playoff.
Yeah. Andy Kolnicki is going to make a difference until James Franklin overrules him when he goes sugar huddle on 3rd and goal and gets stuffed for a 2-yard loss.
Did you know that the last time that Penn State had a new OC, which they have, and a new DC, that's the year that Franklin won the Big Ten? Mm-hmm. That seemed like counter of what you would think.
Right.
So you got to say something about positive about Penn State. They have 5 double-figure win seasons in the last 8.
Really good at winning 10 games, not 12.
But the significant games they're not winning, they will win enough this year. Penn State will host a playoff game. They better winterize the stadium in State College because Penn State will host a playoff game.
Look at that. We didn't say anything.
I mean,
nice
they're putting that $700 million upgrade in. They may not need a winterizer. It might help them in the process.
Ice cold erector set in Happy Valley.
There you go.
Maryland. There was a pregnant pause there.
I wrote this down, I mean, the talent from the skill position eventually has to catch up to the win total, right? They've recruited skill positions really well. They started off 5-0 last season. Big wins over Virginia, Indiana, and Michigan State. And Ohio State kind of exposed them. But it feels like there's going to be this breakthrough moment for Maryland, and it could be this season. Obviously, you're replacing a really good quarterback.
Good save, though. I like that. It made me feel better.
I just don't know if I believe that. I'm trying to be nice and positive here, but you would think on paper, eventually the guys that they get outside of the hash marks have to make a difference, and I think that's a possibility.
I'll piggyback off that. I like Michael Oxley.
They have recruited, so this is like they've won 23 games and gone to 3 straight bowls.
Yeah,
they have recruited really well. It's also one of those jobs of where they're located because the high school football talent in the DMV is enormous. Mm-hmm. You're now in the Big Ten. You're not in the ACC. They got a guy who likes recruiting in Loxley. They've recruited really, really well. And but I don't know if they can find a home in the second tier of the Big Ten moving forward. But I think they're a good 7-win program. Maybe you get to 8 and you're happy every year.
Just feels like there's this ceiling that they can't break through.
Yeah, but and it might be that 7.
Yeah,
but here's a discussion moving forward. When you look at schedules now in the Big Ten, are we going to look and go, man, an 8-win season is pretty good?
Yeah, I think that'll
maybe
change
even
the
some
dynamic.
places a 7-win season.
You've said this before, and it makes sense.
Like at Iowa. Iowa's schedule's a little bit more difficult this year. Well, will Iowa now look at a 7-win season and go, hey, you know what? That's not a bad season.
Well, the proverbial
when
bar
they're
has been
used
lowered,
to
right?
8 or 9.
The proverbial bar has been lowered, right? Like the end goal of getting to the championship series is a lot more obtainable now. So the closer you can get to that, the better it looks.
Just get in.
Yeah, well, not even that, but if you could sniff it and get close, I think it changes the discussion.
I think you also have to factor in, and this is where Nebraska, you're in a conference that gives you opportunities. The Big Ten, when it comes to the college football playoff, is going to give you opportunities because you're in the Big Two. You don't think the committee will look differently at a Big Ten team with a similar record to an ACC or a Big 12 program?
Absolutely.
So if you are in a conference that does give you that advantage, how do you take advantage of it? I mean,
what do you do
are
with
we
the
going to be
opportunity?
surprised? Are we going to be surprised if there is a 3-loss team out of the SEC or the Big Ten that'll be in the playoff? No.
And I think it happens this year.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. One final one, and then we'll take a break because I got a question about the college football playoff schedule that was announced yesterday. Illinois, who will play in Lincoln on a Friday night. Brett Bielema and his staff were up with the Minnesota Vikings the last couple of days trying to gain knowledge. Brett Bielema, Illinois. Say something positive about Bert.
I think they have a bounce back year. You have a head coach that understands the landscape of this program or of this conference way too well to have the struggles they have. He understands football. He understands how to coach in this league. I think they have a bounce back season.
Man, it just makes me feel warm and fuzzy. I agree. I think they do bounce back, and I am a Burt fan. I think they're about 7-5 this year, but they're salty. I'm a little nervous about that Week 2 game. A little more nervous than I was last year.
That's a huge game. What a great game for college football.
Yeah.
It's a good week, too.
They have Illinois and KU playing.
It's a good team. They'll be a lot better this year.
Nebraska, Colorado in the same week.
I
disagree.
So I'm trying to find something to say positive about Illinois.
You don't like Brett Bielema, do you?
I like Brett Bielema, a guy that was at my wedding is director of football ops.
Is he? Is it because he big timed you at the Big Ten Media Days last year?
No, I don't. Hey, if he wants to do that, that's his loss. But he's known as a fighter. I don't know if I'm looking at programs that might be in trouble with the expanded Big Ten, and also might be in trouble because there's no divisions.
Them and Purdue stood out to me.
Illinois is one of those schools that I think no divisions is going to have a great impact. If they don't win in Champaign this year, the heat really turns up next year.
I agree.
For the reasons you just said.
My positive about Illinois is that's pretty cool that they're playing KU.
It's a positive.
In week 2. Yeah, that's a positive.
Anything positive. That's why I say go to a game at Husky Stadium. That's a positive. For someone who's been called negative, I come out with a lot of positivity.
You know where my opinion on them changed? The Nebraska game.
It looked like Nebraska was the more physical team. That's weird to say about a Brett Bielema coach team.
That's true.
The Nebraska game last year on that Friday night
when Riley
started to change,
had that stop in the end zone.
Started to change my opinion about Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had some good talent, and they got Illinois'd by Nebraska. I did not think that would happen this early in Rule's tenure, and they walked in there early in the season, right after Michigan, and did that to them.
And I think that's the reason people started looking at Nebraska with it heading into November and saying, "Oh yeah, this is for sure going to be the year they get over the hump and get to at least 6-6." Was that moment? It just never came to fruition.
We'll take a break. 40 past the hour.
That was easy.
College football schedule. Is this what y'all wanted? Not the structure of 12 or 16 or should have kept 4. But the layout. January football is great, But Thursday and Friday semifinals?
Got the championship on Monday. Why not?
You've got the championship on Monday, but you also know what that day is.
That's true.
That is inauguration day.
Oh,
yeah, it's the same.
Considering what could happen on that day,
game might be canceled.
That's not a positive, Jimmy.
That's just realistic.
It is if it gets moved to Saturday.
January football is going to be great. But I'm this isn't me, but I'm throwing it out there for discussion. Is this the schedule you wanted when it was announced yesterday? Thursday, Friday, semis, Monday, championship on not only Inauguration Day, but MLK Day.
Yeah, I didn't like that approach to it. The fact that you're taking a holiday and kind of trying to ipso facto take it over.
Consider the network.
But I do love that first round games are at home. If I'm one of the top 4 teams, don't you go, man, we grinded through the season. Why don't we get rewarded with a home game?
Yeah, I hate that the top 4 seeds don't get the home game. If I were them, that's why 8 made more sense because it allowed for that than 12.
Well, get ready. Someday Memorial Stadium may be to be winterized for a mid-December game at 7:00.
Could it happen as early as this year?
On natural grass.
Whoa. Bold prediction already?
Some are saying.
I mean, 86 days away, you're just throwing all kinds of stuff out. You got Nebraska in the playoffs?
7-5, maybe 8-4.
Whoa.
Man, I look at that schedule.
Say it. Say 11-1.
It's really hard to. You could talk me into 10-2. You could get me there.
Well, we got 2 days to do it.
You could get me to 10-2. You could paint the path for me in which Nebraska is 10-2.
Do I live in a world where I don't want to be negative guy. I'm just going to be factual guy.
I have never
Nebraska
said this.
football
in the last
hasn't
8
won
years.
8 games or more in 8 years.
I haven't really had a guy that looks like Jamal Banks and Isaiah Naylor and Ja'Cory Barney and probably
Trey Palmer.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the horses, not horse.
10
I thought you were going to say something else.
10-2.
That defense is going to be really good.
It is.
And if you can,
I'm not arguing with you that they will make strides.
Hold on to the. Here's the concept.
But I got 86 days. I can't blow it all.
Matt and Lincoln, if you're listening, here's a concept. Coach this.
Listening.
Hold on to the football. Could be a difference.
Wait, did you just tell listener Matt?
Could be a difference maker.
How come you're a talk show host? You should be out there coaching a Pop Warner football.
I did for 8 years. I miss it. Pretty successful run with the Westside Junior Warriors.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Coach Dylan Plouts and those kids.
Yeah. What about Henry Fly?
He was the year above us, I believe.
You could have coached Steve Warren's son, Braylon, who just got an offer from Iowa State at quarterback. He's gonna be thrown to a dude. They're gonna have a wide receiver named Eli Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, the young quarterbacks in Omaha this year will be really, really good. From Bell West to West Side to Millard South. Man, there's some young quarterbacks that can spin it in the Metro this year. But
Braylon's got one of the fastest releases I've ever seen.
And he got an offer from Iowa State. All right, we got to take a break. We'll come back. Steve Sipple coming up at 8:30. Brian Edwards a little bit later. As of right now, Dan Hurley still is in Stores, Connecticut. Woj has said that the Lakers are prepared to make a massive offer to Dan Hurley to become the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Is it Flight Tracker Day in Stores?
This one caught everybody off guard.
Yeah, I agreed.
Everybody off guard, except for Dan Hurley. I would hope. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Jimmy and Jimmy in today on 1620 The Zone. NBA playoffs, they've been rolling, and tonight is the championship. It's not too late to get on all the action with FanDuel. It's game number 1. Now, remember, new customers, you get $150 back in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. So tonight, the Celtics are a 6.5-point favorite, and you're going, game 1 looks like the Celtics to me. Or you're thinking, man, Luka's point total is 31.5. Come on, let's go under. Even scoring 28 would be a good night for Luka. You can do all of that with FanDuel. There's no better place to bet on all the playoff action than America's #1 sportsbook. So just go to FanDuel.com/zone to get started. FanDuel.com/zone to get started. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 over present Iowa. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable. Bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem, call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620, the Zone.
Don't answer that. It's another roof gypsy ringing the doorbell. They are attempting to capitalize on the misfortune that Mother Nature has thrown your way. Make the right call to a trusted company that has faithfully served the Omaha area for over 35 years. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
For roofing, siding, and gutter repair, make the right call to John Higgins Weather Guard.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the Rooferees. Make the right call. If you've got heart, come on out to Werner Park. We're gonna make some memories for the Chasers family.
Join the Omaha Storm Chasers at Werner Park every Saturday for Bands and Brews presented by J&M Displays and Werner Enterprises. Each week will feature a different pregame concert and happy hour special at the Bud Light Downdraft Bar in left field. Find details on each Saturday's Bands and Brews at omahastormchasers.com. That's omahastormchasers.com.
Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm, we're family.
For the second year, the Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion has roared into our state, and the excitement is throttling up. Until June 24th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play and Double Play. Enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 Nebraska winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship weekend, plus a shot at $1 million. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
How powerful is Cox Fiber? Powerful enough to let your band members in Vegas, Phoenix, and Omaha jam like you're all in the same garage. Introducing Cox Fiber from the company with the fastest download speeds 9 years in a row. It's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, always building better. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms and restrictions may apply. Analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence in Las Vegas, Omaha, Phoenix. Fixed median download speeds Q2 2016 to Q1 2024.
Email us on the Equitable Bank inbox with whatever is on your mind. Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can get me, Gary, at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone Inbox.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Eric tweets at the show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed with the news that Danny Hurley is being courted by the Los Angeles Lakers this morning. Want to make college sports great again, eliminate the transfer portal, or at least NIL. Harbaugh, Saban, now Hurley will have all left because of it. They don't want to deal with it.
Jay Wright.
I was going to say, Coach K. A pretty long list. People that have done, that have listed that as the specific reason.
NIL is legal in the
NBA. I don't know if I hate the transfer portal. I know a lot of people are just, we got to fix it. We got to fix it. We got to fix it. I mean, it's a free and open market. I mean, are we really want to talk about salary caps in college sports? Like, is that really what we want to have the conversation about?
No. And I think most of the coaches that I know and listen to, the NIL part is the bigger concern than the transfer portal. Both are concerns, and you have to play the game. But I think how NIL is structured across the board and what the future may look like, I think probably keeps coaches up at night a little bit longer.
In what way? Like which part of it?
Well, let's say, okay, let's use, and this is just hypothetical for everybody tuning in, Jamarian Parker, who Nebraska just got yesterday, 4-star running back, good pickup at a must-have position in the class of 25. So Nebraska quickly built a relationship. They went all in they are, kudos to them and their recruiting philosophy. They are well connected from OC to position coach and area coach. Like, Rob Dvorak is not going to have Parker playing for him, but he recruits the state of Missouri. But then you turn over to Barthel and, Satterfield gets involved and Glenn Thomas gets involved. So they have a good chain of command to go and build a relationship. So you build a relationship and you get to know a kid and you feel real good. And all of a sudden that kid comes to you and says, hey, X, Y, and Z school, 1.3. That can you top it? And you're like, whoa, what happened? We had a good relationship. We were vibing. We sold you the virtues of coming here. We love you. We've invested in you. You've invested in us. And now it's going to come down to money. And then out the door, you lose a guy who
you put a bunch of time into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to be a coach right now. I'm going to go a step further. I think it's tough to be a coach for youth, high school, college, and pro right now. Some of those are greater than others, but I think it's difficult to be a coach.
I was talking to somebody the other day that is going through the
high school coaches.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody that's going through the process right now. Do you think that? Do you think the top guys? I'm talking the 4 or 5-star guys are letting the majority, not the few, are letting the money outweigh the process. I'm talking about.
Well,
the guys that are getting recruited at the highest level.
Okay, that's a good question. I think guys get exposed because some guys like to be recruited.
Agreed.
Some guys like to play ball.
Yeah.
And in this day and age, you find out pretty quickly who they are.
And I think that's a really good thing to evaluate too when you're having those conversations. Is what are you letting the process outweigh what you're going to do on the field? And if you are, might be a good idea to steer clear of that guy.
All right, Buckeye Ross, in our discussion about saying something positive about the Big Ten teams, we've got 4 more to do, or actually 3 more to do that we'll do a little bit later in the show. He says, what I would say positive about OSU is I think we look back in 10 years and we'll say the hiring of Chip Kelly was one of the most influential moves that changed the course of college football on the field. A big statement.
It might impact Ohio State, but I wouldn't completely credit him with curing cancer just yet.
Okay, but
I don't know if I disagree with him, though.
It's going to change the Buckeyes.
So if Chip Kelly is true to his word that he just wants to ball, he doesn't want to deal with the administrative stuff, i.e. NIL, portal, just wants to coach ball, it is a fantastic hire. But
you'll have fun.
Do we believe him?
And I do.
Chip?
I do too.
I do in this scenario. But this is what, like, the next phase of Chip Kelly, like he was the innovator and then people copied him. And then he didn't have like a Chip Kelly 2.0 at UCLA.
Yeah.
When he can just focus on ball and calling plays, is there a Chip Kelly 2.0 that becomes the next innovation where 5 years from now you're copying Chip Kelly again? I think there are some great play callers in the game of football that can't handle being a head coach.
Saw one recently in Lincoln.
One guy was just coaching here.
Yep.
Chip Kelly, even though he had success at Oregon and had a modicum of success at UCLA, I think at the end of the day, there's a guy that just wants to coach ball. Frank Solich was a really, really good, I just want to coach ball guy. Where Frank got into trouble is they said, Frank, we need you to go to Benkelman tonight and make a little money for the athletic department by shaking hands and kissing babies. And Frank said,
Benkelman?
And Frank is like, man, that's taken away from my film time. Frank Solich just wanted to coach ball. Bill Callahan just wanted to coach ball. I think it's okay to have coaches that do that, but the coaches have changed. Your role as a coach is you got to raise some money.
Well, yeah,
you got to do all that stuff. And, oh, by the way, also coach ball.
And the difference between Frank and Bill is Bill hired guys that were okay doing the extracurriculars and being out in the public and being out on the recruiting trail. I think that was the big difference between those two guys and that philosophy. But I agree with you. But I mean, if we're looking at the Jeff Hafleys, the Chip Kellys of the world, I wonder if that starts to become a norm where a guy is just like, I have no interest in talking to season ticket holders and being
absolutely.
out.
Absolutely.
I've talked to coaches personally that said that to me.
And leaving the head coaching role to become a coordinator and being fine taking that pay cut to deal with less than the hassle. It's a weird time, man. It's because
coaches have told me this is why they will go to the pros, because they just want to coach.
And from an athletic director standpoint, like where do you put your chips at? Like are you looking for the guy that if you have to split between the two, if your choices are between the two, are you more worried about the fundraising? Or are you more worried about the product on the field? Because sometimes you can't have both.
Well, now an athletic director, because they're going to look at everything as money signs. What's your return on investment? Man, you're going to have to be well-rounded as a head coach. The younger guys probably get it. The older guys just want to coach ball. They just want to be with their guys. They want to hang out with their staff. They want to be with their players. They don't want to spend, the same amount of time with people that they don't know, but you have to because that's your role.
If Dan Hurley ends up taking this job in LA, I would be interested to hear his thought on his reaction to that question.
The college football playoff schedule announced yesterday, where you'll have the opportunity to win the Rose Bowl and the Cotton Bowl in the same year. How about that? Are we? Is this what we wanted? The schedule? I don't want to debate the 12 again, because we may only be at 12 for a little bit. But is this the schedule that we wanted?
I'm really surprised that they're willing to go head to head with the NFL in the way they are. That was the most surprising thing. I think
the NFL said we'll go head to head with you because they were already locked into that weekend.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
and I think those audiences are going to differentiate enough that it may not end up mattering. I think there is enough for everybody, and maybe the TV networks disagree, but I think it's not like the Oregon fan is going to be dialed out to tune into Houston, Kansas City. I think they would, because their team's not on Sunday and the NFL obviously dominates. But if you have a tie to the team, it's not like the NFL is going to deter you from that.
No.
I'll watch college over the NFL unless it's my team.
Exactly. And I think the vast majority of people would feel that way if
I hate pretty much everyone
if it's
else.
their team versus the college versus NFL.
But NFL national, college regional, even in playoffs.
NFL's king, though. No one's going to ever beat it.
So, the college was locked into that Friday, Saturday, that 20th and 21st. So that Friday night game probably will be that group of 5 team.
Yeah.
Okay.
More often than not every year.
Now, I wonder if weather will come into play on how the games are, are they
at 2:30?
Are they going to give a 7:00 game to a northern school? I hope they do.
Yeah.
And I hope it's somebody from the state of Florida, the SEC, that has to come to the north and play. But TV will have a say. Weather will have a say. More football is better.
Mm-hmm.
January football is great. Couple of things here on this observation.
Can I retort to that real fast? Because the only thing the only thing that I don't want to see happen is that be the case where they give a northern school a night game and they let that be the determining factor to take away the home games, because I don't ever want to see that go away. If we have this type of playoff structure, I always want to see on-campus playoff games. That's the only reason that I'm like, maybe we should kowtow to the weather and make it as presentable as possible for the TV product.
Again, I know that you'll go into the bowl structure for the second round, but if I'm the number 1 seed, why don't I get a home game?
Yeah, if I'm an athletic department, I'm not thrilled about that.
I mean, I played all year. How come I'm not playing at home? Screw it if it's like 2 weeks later.
Do we see teams start tanking in the conference title games that don't matter now?
It'll be an examination of the number 5 seed, which the 5 could be a really good spot because you get a home game.
You're de facto 1.
And you're going to be playing the 4. So
it's almost like you're the 2 seed.
You at least get 2 games where you're like, all right.
Yeah, in a standpoint of like best path, 5 is almost better than the 2.
It also shows you, this is not new, is think about your pocketbook. I know I've thought this for a long time. I'm an average Joe. I think you're an average Jimmy. You're an average Jimmy. Most of us,
depending on the day,
we're average Joes and Janes. Okay,
I think you're above average, Gary.
We
depending on the day.
Our expendable income, we're not loosey-goosey with it.
Sure.
It has really shown you
in professional and college sports, the postseason is not built for us.
Like from a dollar point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Think about if you had to go on an epic run in the playoffs.
How much money it would cost?
You would go bankrupt.
Yeah.
I even like
You're looking at $10,000.
Like look in the NFL. You know, you get a couple of home games. Oh, then you got to go to the Super Bowl. It's the postseason is not for us.
Yeah, if you want to
the
attend
postseason in sports and college now is for
them.
You all that have Guillermo standing at the gate checking people to see if they can come in or not. By the way, did you see Guillermo yesterday at the NBA Finals doing his bit for Jimmy Kimmel? Dressed as a leprechaun.
I did not see that.
I'll send you a screenshot.
That seems problematic.
But you guys agree that if you are like, I tell the story of
to your point, yes,
I tell the story of Trevor Larnach's parents. Remember when he's playing for Oregon State? He's now with the Twins. When Oregon State in 18 had the run and they played Arkansas in the championship final, his dad told me, and then I didn't know him, but we did like an interview, and he said, yeah, for us to stay in a hotel in Omaha for food, and we did get a car because we didn't want to be
Can I take a guess?
locked in. How much do you think for they were in a hotel for 10 days in Omaha. They ate meals for 10 days.
Not at the American.
They also went, to do some other things in Omaha.
5,500.
And they had a car, and they had flights coming in and out of Omaha where they had to change the departure date twice.
5,500.
$1.
He said $13,000.
Damn.
Wow.
For the entire family.
All the prices right I watched last week.
Hey, let's just use Nebraska as an example. You can use Creighton as an example. They've made back-to-back weekends in a tournament where it's not, last year was nice because you could drive to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of you and Alex driving to Detroit, most people flew.
Yeah.
That's a direct flight.
Their first round was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but last year you had a couple of drivables.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Even though I don't know why you drove to Detroit. But think about it. Okay, let's just do this.
Tickets were $1,600.
Let's just use it as a Nebraska example. Let's say Nebraska makes the playoff, like Jimmy said earlier, at 10-2.
Jimmy Allen, but they don't get a bunch of crap.
But they don't get a first round game. But they're in the playoff, and you're like, I got to get there. Then let's say they win. Then they travel to another destination.
I got to be there again.
Let's say they win. Then they're in the semifinals, and you're like, oh, I can't. Dude.
You're already north of $10,000.
I hope your valuation of your home is not as through the roof as most are right now, and that you have some extra cash. But you can see that it's expensive to be a normal fan in the postseason. And that's where kind of we want to, oh my God, I got to be there. Because I know for a fact, a good friend of mine, he has a season ticket holder for Nebraska football. He always goes to one road game
I like that.
where they have to fly and it's new. And his choice this year is he's going to USC.
Right.
And then he'll probably drive to Iowa because it's driving distance. I don't know if the night game changes anything. But he said, I probably won't do 2 road games because I'm saving up for the bowl game because I got to be at the bowl game. If you want to follow your team, it's going to be expensive. And you don't want to say, well, you know what? I'll just hope that they win that playoff game and then I'll just make plans and then they get beaten. You're like,
oh, that's it.
A little bit of kick in the pants for sure. I mean, that was you mentioned it, but that was kind of the thought process.
And this might be
around
third
the
world problems, but these are our problems.
These are problems.
Yes. We're average Joes and Janes.
People that listen to this this impacts them.
I'm not going to lie. That was part of Alex Drake and I that were a little bit happy when Creighton didn't advance to that Sunday game because we're like, all right, we just saved X amount of dollars.
You tell Matt
hop in the car and we'll get back by Easter and have a couple extra $100 in the bank account. It'd have been worth it though. Get to Glendale.
There you go.
Hey, I have just a request for the playoff committee next year for the championship game because the championship game is on a Monday. It is Inauguration Day and MLK Day, which could who knows what's going to be going on that day, but at least we'll have a respite to watch some national championship games.
Will Dan Hurley be the coach of the Lakers? But
there you go, and that's the main takeaway.
I would hope that he doesn't string UConn along until the 20th of January.
And yet there's still
part of me kind of hopes he strings UConn along to the 20th.
Is it still a thing that the championship game for college football is not on the day that we always play college football?
No.
Okay, so we're over that?
No, I just pretend it's like basketball.
So we play on a Monday. We're used to Monday now. Because next year, college football is played on Saturdays. College football now, I'm being told that 11 o'clock is the day on a Saturday to love your college football. Next year, what if they played the championship game on a Saturday in January?
You get a taste of it.
And it's
a big noon kickoff.
Begin at 11, and then the NFL could have their 2 divisional round games later in the day, like at 4 and 8 or 3 and 7 Central Time.
Well, I think that's something.
Let's try it.
That's something that's got to be being kicked around, right? I mean, even moving that championship game off of a Monday, because they just told you with this schedule, they're not afraid to go head to head with the NFL. And if that's the case, and you want to continue to own Saturdays, and you want to make a statement, that's how you do it.
I think that's the other way around. I don't think that college football is like, we don't care about the NFL. I think the NFL said, we don't care about college football. We'll go head to head with them.
Okay.
That's never been up for debate,
I'm not a big conspiracy guy. Okay, I don't think Kobe's still living in China or wherever.
Oh, people think that?
There's hope. Past show on this radio station.
Sure.
You don't think that the Chiefs playing on Black Friday changed Iowa playing at night with 2 Midwestern teams that have an abundance of Chief fans?
Sure. You don't want to make Caitlin Clark choose.
It feels. I mean, it has that feel to it. So
yeah.
I never understood the fear of it for college football. Like, what's the worst thing that happens? You succeed. Like, you already think it can't happen. So give it a shot and compete and see what happens, and maybe you end up better for it at the end. Like, the fear of just not doing it just never made sense to me.
All right. Do not fear this stretch of football. December 19th through January 20th. Browns, Bengals on the 19th. College football playoff round 21st. Texans, Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens 21st. 12 NFL games on the 22nd. Saints at Packers on the 23rd. Christmas Day, Chiefs at Steelers, Ravens at Texans. Day after, Seahawks at Bears. 29th of December, 12 NFL games. 30th, Lions at 49ers. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, 2 the college football playoff quarterfinals. January 5th, 16 NFL games. The 9th and the 10th of January, the semis. The 11th and 13th of January, Super Wildcard round. 18th, 19th of January, divisional round. January 20th, the national championship for college football. Hope is still my heart.
Yeah. If there ever would be something that's called football fatigue, it would be in that time frame. We'll never get it. Football fatigue doesn't exist.
You've improved my mood with that.
Steve Sipple coming up in a little bit. There's Jimmy Allen, Jimmy Chavez as well. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley at 1620 The Zone. All right, summertime is here. I'm not going to go into all Will Smith and start rapping, even though that's a great song. Summertime. But Gary Sharp here for Lindley Clothing. Your wardrobe could use a little upgrade summertime. I'm looking at Jimmy Allen over here. Hello. I'm going to take you to my good friends over at Lindley Clothing, 132nd and West Dodge. They're going to get your fit rad. And you know what? Right now, I know you can be that guy. I'm going to make you really happy here. Okay, I'm going to upgrade. You're going to have a nice shirt. You're going to have a short sleeve shirt, polo shorts. You're going to look really, really good, courtesy of Lindley Clothing, and even better so right now, because all spring and summer sportswear, 25% off. Are you kidding me? 25% off right now at Lindley Clothing. And even more so, John and Marlene and the great staff over there that give you top-notch customer service. If you mention my name or 1620 The Zone, you're going to get a free gift with a purchase of $25 or more at Lindley Clothing. I mean, what more do you want? You want to get something that you're comfortable in this summer? Shorts, short sleeve shirts, polos. You can find it all at Lindley Clothing. Conveniently located, easy access shopping. Don't forget, 25% off all spring and summer sportswear right now. Dad's Day coming up a week from Sunday. And if you tell them that you heard me yapping about Lindley Clothing or heard 1620 The Zone, get a free gift with a purchase of $25 or more. That is Lindley Clothing, 132nd and West Dodge in the Linden Market.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. A crash has been reported I-80 eastbound at Q Street. You might run into some temporary delays here. Speaking of I-80 eastbound, slowing down right now between 60th and 42nd. That Dodge eastbound traffic picking up on those express lanes around 180th to 156th. And JFK northbound, usual morning slowdown between Childs and Q Street. Remember to stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
We're excited to announce the grand opening of Saul's Jewelry and Loan's new downtown location. It's a Saul's shopping experience like you've never seen. Amazing jewelry finds at our famous best-in-town prices. Tools, bikes, guitars. 22nd and Hardy, downtown Omaha, Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Grandpa Dave here from Osted's Golf, helping the grandkids get their dad the perfect gift for Father's Day.
Thanks for your help, Grandpa. Dad wasn't thrilled with the candy that we got him last year, but we sure liked it.
Okay, kids, save up to $200 on clubs from TaylorMade, Callaway, Titleist, or Ping. We're up to 50% off name brand golf apparel. Buy 2 dozen Strixon balls, get one free. And dads love Osted's gift cards.
Papa, we need a bigger allowance.
Talk to your dad.
Shop Osted's Golf for Father's Day.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is Cops. Receive 2 $25 gift vouchers for just $25. Cops makes delicious pizza, fresh salads, and tasty charred wings. For the basic menu, click copspizza.com. And for the extended menu, visit them at Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and the newly reopened 72nd and Jones locations.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back up mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, good luck to everybody that
Thank
has. Good luck to you, whatever you may be doing.
Said good luck to everybody. I was appreciative.
Yeah. There's a lot of people, yours truly, that we've begun the quest once again to overcome these insurmountable odds. You filled out your master's ticket application and submitted it in the last couple of days.
Have you ever been?
No. I am 0 for 11. I am ready to feel the pain. I'll wear my my cod piece, so I get kicked right there again, and it won't hurt this time. But I hit submit yesterday.
What is what's the bucket list if you get there? What do you have to do in your time in Augusta?
The whole thing: eat, drink, be merry.
Okay.
The whole thing.
I didn't know if there was like a
lay down on the course, steal some stuff.
Would you take a piece of grass back in your pocket?
I'm ripping things off. I might take a sign.
Grass back there.
I might take the scoreboard.
Brings home a golfer.
Hey,
there's Gary Sharp runs up on stage, tries ripping the green jacket away.
I can't take a selfie, so I've got to bring back something. People are like, you didn't go to the Masters. I can get that hat online, or I can get that food online. So I'll have to like bring something back. So maybe like a fence post or something like that.
Is there anything that is of the Masters that you wouldn't want to do? Like, what's the cheese
Get
sandwich
arrested?
thing called?
Yeah, get arrested.
Yeah, that's
Morning, Scotty.
I would actually like to play Augusta more than go to Augusta. Does that make sense?
There you go.
That's more the Waste Management Open, Jay.
This is, you know what the fascinating thing about the Woj bomb this morning is? That the Lakers are preparing a massive offer for Dan Hurley.
A full court press to get him.
Yeah, we all follow. We all follow along. You know, there's a lot like of our friends that are in the media or just friends in general that we follow on Twitter. I think one of the best parts of this Woj bomb is realizing what time people get up in the morning, because this is the first thing they are seeing.
Yeah.
And so they're responding.
So you know what time that person woke up.
We have some media people. We have
sleeping in today?
Yeah, we have some media people that used to say, "Oh, I'm an early bird. I get up and I listen to your show." Yeah, it looks like you're getting up about 7:30 right now, looking at your response to the Woj bomb tweet.
Your show was on at 7:30.
Used to be on at 7. We used to do 7 to 11.
Ooh,
do you miss
an
it?
extra hour?
Do I miss 7 to 11? That hour makes a difference, man.
I agree. As somebody has to be here till 8 o'clock tonight, I agree.
Oh,
well, you get to leave after, right?
So glad to have you back tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be here.
The Hurley hire would be fascinating because I think the X's and O's, I think it'd be pretty good. 82 games, there's a grind. How would he handle the officials in the NBA?
He gets after it in the Big East. So I don't know if it's that different. Would LA change Danny Hurley? Could we see, because there's a little bit of a difference in lifestyle between fast-paced East Coast, hardened in the cold, forged in winter, and then the saving the environment, laid-back experience of Los Angeles.
Well, if he does go to the Lakers, I brought up Bill Murray's son earlier, Luke. I would take Luke Murray to the NBA. I think Luke Murray is a bright X's and O's guy. So you got to be different in the NBA, and you got to gain the respect of LeBron.
I don't know if anybody seems less left coast than Dan Hurley. I mean, his brother
is in
Arizona.
Went to Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, now his brother played on the West Coast in Sacramento in the NBA, but you know, they're East Coast guys, they're New Jersey guys. Hey, for that amount of money, I'll go to Uzbekistan.
I agree.
Play Nebraska in football.
I'm talking about from a mesh.
2020.
That fan base.
Yeah. If you win, anything can happen, Jimmy. People will love you if you win, even if you are a heel or a tool. That's what I've been told.
And Dan Hurley is both of those things.
A couple of emails here in the Equitable Bank inbox. Again, Steve Sipple is going to join us at the bottom of the hour.
Say bother us.
That's what I thought too.
Hey, Sip, we got
to miss Sip.
Hey, Sip, every Thursday we got to have you on at 8:30, but you're getting in the way of some good discussion this morning. Terry writes in to the Equitable Bank inbox. Hi, Terry. First world problems. First world problems are y'all that are not returning your shopping cart to the shopping cart corral.
There you go, Terry.
That's not in Terry's email. I just thought
I agree, though.
in there.
I returned mine.
I agree.
That has become a hot discussion point.
I don't think I've ever seen, it has, and I hear people talk about it all the time. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody actually do that.
I don't know.
Not return it.
I don't know. I live near the.
I
live near the Walmart on 72nd and Pacific. There's a lot of people that take the shopping cart across the street and they never return it.
And home with it.
Or when I'm walking on my trail there, the Keystone Trail, I happen to see the same shopping cart.
Homeless park.
I avoid the Walmart on 72nd like the plague.
Why? You never know what you're going to see. I saw a man with a machete one day.
I heard about
that. The last time I was in there was a lady that was walking around just with her tank top tucked between her friends. Just walking around the store.
Well, you do know it can get pretty warm here in the summer.
It was hot out, so I gave her a little bit of a pass, but I was like, this is what we're doing, huh? Okay.
Did she have some padding underneath?
Just her and her friends hanging out. That was it.
All right.
How do you spell areola?
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. The Jake Arrieta.
Oh, yeah.
Jake Arrieta.
Sorry. Yeah. That's.
Whoa.
I'm going to bring up Jake Arriola.
Did you alert anybody? Because they usually have a couple of security officers.
Are they taking pictures?
Off-duty OPD.
There was enough people looking that I don't think I really needed to bring it to anybody's attention. She had a lot going on.
One of those awkward things that as somebody that runs a place that you have to have a discussion. Ma'am, can you put the back in? Or, hey, can you maybe take a shower because your body odor is killing people? I don't know which one would be tougher.
This person probably going to have both conversations.
I'm a Royals fan. Put the Twins away.
There you go.
Got to make some money anyhow.
That was
Everybody's
life in
chasing
the
the
Twin
bag.
Cities.
Back to Terry's email that had
Yeah,
nothing to
thank
do
you.
with what you saw.
Oh yeah, this is what we're talking about.
You weren't a creeper, were you? You didn't follow.
No.
remember,
I did the exact opposite.
remember they had a. They used to. There was a YouTube channel that set up pedophiles, and they would meet them at Walmart and they would film them.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
Bring that
there
back.
was
Chris Hansen.
there was a
Yeah,
there
that's
was
where I
a-
thought he was going.
There was a significant discovery in Omaha.
Really?
You can YouTube it. It was somebody who was known. Okay. To Terry's email. Hi guys.
Hi Terry. Welcome into this conversation.
Hello. Back in Nebraska's heydays, I wasn't a season ticket holder, but went to all the home games. I also traveled to all the away games.
You could drive to them.
Damn, I think Terry's retired.
I think
He got
it's
some
like
cash.
$15.
Except Texas Tech and the outpost in Colorado, they didn't deserve my money. I went to all the bowl games, including the 4 national championship games. I wasn't rich, but I had a disposable income for Husker football.
There you go.
There's no way I could afford a 3-game playoff of today on my retirement income, but I wouldn't have been able to afford it during my high income years. December's an expensive time of the year to travel, especially on last minute decisions. It just shows, like everything else, big events become corporate events and the fans are pushed out. I mean, Terry's
He's not wrong.
wrong.
Yeah,
Not
I
wrong.
was going to say I'm trying to find a retort to that. I don't have one. It's a great point. Like it feels like sports of the mainstream variety are trying to become more corporate anyway, and so it might be what they're trying to do.
Sean says I'm off on my conspiracy theory of Kobe Bryant. He said it's not Kobe living in China, it's Tupac living in Italy.
I've heard the Bahamas.
What about Batman?
I've heard Des Moines.
You've never seen me and Batman in the same room together.
I did not think you would go third person with you and Batman this morning, but
I'm here for it.
good on you.
Is that third person?
It's kind of. It's a.
I didn't refer to myself as Jimmy.
It's a workaround.
But I guess I can't in this sense because it could have been confused in this room.
John says, wait a minute. You think you don't just think Tupac is alive, you think Kobe is alive too. What a weirdo. There was
Probably
a
hanging out with Elvis,
discussion.
playing
There was a
Jenga.
discussion on a crossover about conspiracy theories and how Kobe Bryant is still alive and he lives in China. Or about 3 breaths into this discussion, I checked out. But it went on and on and on.
I don't remember Kyrie Irving ever filling in the station.
There could be jokes.
Flat Earths.
Take a knee.
Another observation from yesterday. We're never getting back the swim trials here, right?
Have you seen that pool today?
Yeah. So
that's a
Lucas
really
Oil
good
Stadium
look.
is hosting. They're expecting 30,000. Now we did really well here for attendance.
I think it was 18.
All to
right?
watch people avoid drowning.
I mean, we don't have a dome.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did Swimtown well. But after looking at the setup at Lucas Oil, and it's Indianapolis, which I hate to say it, we're the AAA version of Indianapolis.
That's a really good take, actually. I agree with that.
I'm gonna. Why would describe this to people?
And
at
Des
home.
Moines is the AA version of Omaha.
Okay.
But
that's too much credit for
looking
Des Moines.
at that, I
like Des Moines.
think it's going to be tough to get the swim trials back here.
It
looks really cool.
It's outgrown it too. I think the attention for it has outgrown what Omaha can provide. Also,
Hey, we got Michael Phelps. You didn't.
yeah,
There you go.
Take
Build
that,
it-
Indianapolis.
build us that NHL.
They're more likely to get Fred Phelps than
build,
Michael.
Build us that NHL arena out in Gretna, and maybe we can bring it back.
Have we named the team yet?
The fully husked NHL. I don't know. I got nothing. You out? You out on the NHL? Why do you hate hockey,
No,
Gary?
I love hockey.
Whoa.
I love hockey. I'm just a realist.
Yeah.
Go Oilers.
That conversation was, and their fans. Big fan of their fans.
Canadian.
They could be at Walmart.
So this was at the 72nd and Pacific Walmart?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, it's
an experience.
I go there probably once
It is
every other
an
week.
experience. But can I ask you a question? And I want you to
You can ask
answer
me a
this
question about
honestly.
anything.
I want you to answer
I like
this
to
honestly.
people watch, and I like to talk to people.
How much of your trip to the 72nd and Walmart is for you to get content for this show?
It's not.
Okay.
I just want I want stuff that goes in my belly.
I like that though. That's a great little content.
I don't know. One of the craziest conversations I ever had is they have the Roombas locked up.
and my Roomba died a few years ago, and I had to go get a new Roomba.
I have no idea what just happened there, by the way.
That's okay. I put you back.
And they had the Roombas locked up. And I was like, how come you have the Roombas locked up? The guy goes, I don't know, but I don't have the key. And I'm like, so no one has a key for the Roombas that are locked up. And why are the Roombas locked up? Put like one of those things on them, where it sends off the sensors. And he goes, I'm sorry to tell you, sir, but we've lost the key to where the Roombas are locked up. And I was like,
my grandfather worked as a greeter at Walmart at one point, and some guy stole a TV and literally hit my grandfather with his car because my grandfather was trying to stop him. And I think like shortly after that incident, that's when they started locking stuff up. Because a lot of retail stores tell people not to try to stop shoplifters for that reason. Thanks, Walmart.
What if Terry Tate were the greeter, though?
Change. Are you assuming that my grandfather's not Terry Tate?
I'm going to go on a limb and say
probably not. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Steve Sipple, who has no relation to Terry Tate, will join us next. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Jimmy Allen sitting in for Nick. Jimmy Chavez is here as well as usual on 1620 The Zone. Whether you be Terry Tate, Steve Sipple, Jimmy Allen, or myself, we're all men. And as we get older, we go through some different things and some challenges, and we don't have the energy or drive to keep up with the kids after work. 5 to 10 years ago, you're like, man, I was beating the streets. And now I'm not even present for my family. So you're wondering, how are things changing? It just can't be age. Well, you may have symptoms of low testosterone. Have you ever thought about that? Anxious, you're moody, you're irritable, you're impatient. You're like, what do I do now? Well, this is what you do. Let Mentality help you out. FDA-approved testosterone treatment with the board-certified physicians right here in a local healthcare facility. They'll work with most insurance companies to diagnose your low T. And if you have low T, they'll present a plan to you to get you back on the right track to being the person that you need to be. But most importantly, regaining that confidence and energy that you've needed for a long time. It's a wonderful place, great staff. They know you by name, not by a number. It's Mentality. For more information and to schedule a physical, go to the website, lowtusa.com. It is Mentality.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. You get a lot of junk in your inbox. This one, not junk. Not junk at all. 1620 The Email. Exclusive content, contests, other stuff probably. Subscribe today at 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Another day with sunny skies. Thursday, though, quite breezy with northwest wind gusting around 30 miles per hour. Mild with highs around 80. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Crash reported I-80 eastbound at 42nd Street, exit 451. This currently has the left lane blocked and traffic backed up to 72nd Street. Expect delays for a while here. Also slow I-80 eastbound right now between I-680 and 84th. Remember to stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
Time-saving traffic is brought to you by Omaha Transmission.
If you're having transmission problems, you need a specialist. Call Omaha Transmission and see why people have been recommending them for almost 20 years.
Omaha Transmission, shifting to running smooth.
Some people think business banking is only about transactions. But at Emprise, we don't view money as an end game. We see it as an engine. It's who we are. Transforming ideas into IPOs, turning potential into profit. Emprise is next generation business banking, where we help money work for you, not the other way around. That's the power of possible. Visit emprisebank.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
Hey, you hear that? That's the sound of loose change in your pocket reminding you to buy a 99-cent medium fountain drink from Casey's. So the next time you hear this, you already know where to go. 99-cent medium fountain drinks. It's not crazy. It's Casey's.
Runza and the Omaha Storm Chasers team up to play as the Omaha Runzas. Be at Werner Park on Saturday, June 8th for Runza Night. The team takes the field in special jerseys to be auctioned off during the game. Enjoy in-game stadium Runzas for one night only, and the first 1,200 fans will get a special Runza sun hat to help block those summer rays. Get your tickets today at OmahaStormChasers.com.
Omaha Storm Chasers family. Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm, we're family.
For the second year, the Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion has roared into our state, and the excitement is throttling up. Until June 24th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play and Double Play. Enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 Nebraska winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship weekend, plus a shot at $1 million. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, on a Thursday morning, back from the state of Texas is the man, the myth, the legend. Looking back, Texas. He is Steve Sipple from On3.com and 93.7 The Ticket. Good morning, Sip.
Yeah, thanks for the Looking Back Texas reference. It's a great song.
I know how to.
You do, and you just did. God bless you.
All right.
How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. Hey, we're doing wonderful, and glad to have you back on our soil. I'm sure it was a very productive time. You wrote a lot of engaging and thought-provoking articles. Great to have that access. You got to put some eyeballs on some prospects and, more importantly, coaches at work. But first and foremost, what did you wear?
Yeah, I left my, just so your listeners understand why you asked me that question. I left my, my luggage just in Lincoln. I just put my computer bag in my truck and headed off on Sunday to the airport. And I got to the airport and realized I didn't bring any clothes, but for what I had on, which, by the way, I left those clothes in. So on the return trip, I left those clothes in the Hobby International Airport in Houston still. But I brought my new clothes back. So yeah, I had a rough trip that way. I did went to Target and got 3 pairs of shorts and 3 T-shirts socks and underwear.
Were there any pastel bowling shirts included into
No,
the
there wasn't.
repertoire?
I bought
Okay.
two peach colored T-shirts and a blue one, and they're nice though. I mean, they're nice T-shirts. There's a T-shirt sale.
Did you use a red card?
Yeah, $8.
What did you miss the most out of your luggage while you were in Texas? What was the number one item that you were missing?
Oh, I mean, it's heartbreaking. I almost wish you wouldn't have asked. The jeans
Sip, I'm
that
sorry.
I left behind were my favorite jeans.
Ah.
And you know how that. Yeah, there you go. There's the reaction I was looking for. Yeah, that's hard. That's a hard thing. Those jeans, you know how it is. If you have a favorite pair of jeans, those are 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So I got a big hole in my wardrobe right now. So that's that.
Did you also buy a suitcase? I mean, how did we bring back the clothes we
No,
bought?
that was embarrassing. There was some embarrassment attached to that conversation. So I just went with the Target bag.
Yeah, there you go. Roughing it.
So yeah, Sean and Greg, my traveling partners and coworkers, they thought it was a little janky that I was carrying a Target bag into the airport yesterday. And I left the Target bag. I left it. That had some of my clothing in it. And I left that inadvertently. I got to the gate, and that old thing where I'm not going to go. I don't probably have time. And I don't want to go back to that area and get that. So that's it. I didn't want to go back to security and deal with that. So I just said, all right, that's it. Had a rough time going in terms of forgetting clothes and kind of a rough time coming back. I shoved most of the stuff in my computer bag and I was fine.
Wow. On that note, how about that German offensive lineman?
David Hofken.
Well done.
And that was an incredible story. Now I would say, I don't know. I'm not a coach, but I think the way things are right now in the world, in the college football world, and the way things are at Nebraska right now, I think this kid's a no-brainer. And I do. I'm not saying that he's going to be an All-American. He might be. I mean, but if you see him right away, and you can kind of, I guess, tell on the videos, if you've watched the videos, you can kind of tell on the video, but in person, it's more striking. And what am I getting at? He's 6'7" and 260, and he doesn't have body fat. Okay, so right off, 6'7", 260. I mean, he just doesn't have body fat. Washboard stomach, ripped. So right away, it's kind of alluring, right? You're like, wow. When you see him, it's kind of a wow. And then he moves. And I noticed it more, him coming off the edge as a defensive lineman, but he does that well. So you can imagine, he probably moves his feet pretty well as an offensive tackle, which is where Nebraska will play him. And, he's got size 19 feet, stuff like that. Oh yeah. This is it looks like a German lieutenant. I mean, it's a pretty interesting picture. He's 22 years old, and
any concern about him maybe even making it to campus, though? I mean, obviously, when you talk about the foreign aspect of it, he's bagging groceries at a local grocery store right now. Like, is there any concern with him maybe even being able to make it on campus at any point?
Oh, you mean because of visa problems?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think. Yeah, I mean, there's always that just mild concern. It didn't seem like that's going to be a concern. He does have to go through some rigmarole in terms of visa and transcripts and all that. And I think you're probably looking at a July arrival.
What?
And for the uninitiated, we're talking about a 2024 player. I mean, this is not a class of 2025. This is a very late add to the class of 2024.
So a couple of days, the portions of the Nebraska staff are at Mary Hardin Baylor and then Houston Christian. You, Sean, and Greg are down there for On 3. Was Nebraska aware of this guy before they saw him earlier this week?
Nope. Nope, they weren't. That's a good question. And again, value of camps. That's you go out to these camps, and no, you don't always know who's going to show up. That's part of the value. And this in this case, it was interesting. I mean, so right away you walk into the stadium in Belton, Texas. It's Mary Hardin Baylor. Big. I mean, it's fat. You probably know Gary. They're Division III national champs, and it's a gorgeous Division III stadium. Really interesting, actually. And anyway, so one of the workers says, "Hey, those guys in bright green shorts, they're from Gridiron Imports.
Mm-hmm.
So they're foreign. They're from foreign countries, and they're part of this nonprofit group. That there's a nonprofit group that takes them around the camp. And so, I don't know. I'm going to say there was 20 to 30 of them. And yeah, there were some guys that were that what they offered, as best I could tell, was bigs. I mean, they had some bigs.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were a college coach, I'd make sure I know about Gridiron Imports for reasons like Puffkin. And they had another kid, I can't say his name, another big that was pretty good that Nebraska was looking at. So they had some pretty good big players. And yeah, that it's something that any college coach would want to know about, this Gridiron Imports that takes these kids around to camps.
What do you make of this coaching staff's ferocity at these camps? They're hitting them pretty hard, pretty quickly, trying to get some guys in the boat pretty fast. Have you been kind of surprised with that, or was that the thought process going in to these events to try to get as many guys as they can as early as they can?
Well, I mean, they're gonna. I mean, I don't know. The best way to answer that is they're really determined to establish a consistency in Texas, and I think you're going to see and you know what? I think they're pretty determined just to keep it with Belton and Houston. And it makes sense to me. Belton is, that is close to Waco. It's a drive from Dallas, about 90 minutes, I think. Sean does the driving. I'm vaguely aware where we're at most of the time. But, it's in that area. Then you go down to Houston, and there's just so much talent there. I mean, you don't always know who's going to show up. They didn't know Braylon Prude last year. Braylon Prude was the guy that got out of the Houston camp and signed him, and he's in their class of 2024. And he was they had no idea who he was. But there he was, 6'4.5". They clocked him at 4'4" plus. So now you have this 6'4", 189-pounder, 190-pounder with long arms, running 4'4". And that's exactly what the kind of guys they're looking for in the secondary. So it's, this is what you do, right? That's what you do as a coach. You go kind of scour these types of camps. You can't go everywhere, but Houston makes a lot of sense because there's 700 players there. And in Houston, if you're at this camp, you're pretty good. I mean, it was striking to me watching like the skill camp. They have a littler guy camp and a big man camp. And it's just, there's just a lot of good players in Houston. That's the way it is. And there's some pretty good bigs too. So yeah, the whole picture makes sense to me.
With all the discussion about maybe the walk-on program being cut due to NCAA regulations and limiting roster size, does it surprise you with the numbers that they have in Lincoln right now and all those discussions that are kind of on the back burner right now that this coaching staff doesn't seem to be slowing down and adding guys anytime soon?
Well, the rule's not in place, and they're operating in the here and now.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I don't think you gear for something that you don't even know is going to happen. They don't know what the roster size will ultimately be. So no, they're not paring anything right now. They're not paring down anything right now. They're operating in the here and now, and that's the way to do it. And yeah, I would say, getting back to your question, it's pretty impressive to watch Nebraska's guys operate.
Well,
it really is.
Well, one of those guys, because he was in his element, what stands out about Garrett McGuire? You've seen him enough in Lincoln. The Garrett McGuire that is back in Texas is what?
Well, he's very well known and he's very well respected, and he's very comfortable in that environment. It's clear.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably comfortable in most environments. He does really. He's a confident young coach. But he's you know what? He's interesting because he's serious. He's a very serious young guy, and at those camps, he's business, and he's good. He's good. He's he just comports himself really well, and I guess we say that because he's so young and all that. But he does. He's a 24-year-old, and he's all business, and he's got some presence. You know what? The guys know him. The guys, the other coaches, the high school coaches on hand, the coaches at Houston Christian. You know, their coach is Jason Bachtel. Houston Christian's head coach is a 44-year-old guy named Jason Bachtel. By the way, Houston Christian's playing Nebraska in 2025. And yeah, there's just a respect for Joey McGuire, and there's a respect for Garrett, not just because he's Joey's son.
Mm-hmm.
And my perception is Garrett is much more confident. I mean, you can tell he's a little more seasoned now.
Yeah.
And maybe some of his confidence stems from his room got whipped into shape.
Mm.
You know, he's got a good room. He doesn't, he doesn't go around trumpeting it. He doesn't. That's not what he does. But I think you have that sense. He's pretty confident. He's got He's got a good room. He's got a better room they had last year.
Don't you think that was intended by rule? Because I thought there were times last year where, I mean, maybe there was a disconnect between some of the older guys and a young Division I position coach, where he maybe related better to the younger guys. That you look at that room, and you're absolutely right. I agree with you, Sip. The Banks and the Nao are good players, but they're also mature. They're not like, they're going to create a circus atmosphere. They're all business. And that's probably with older guys exactly what that room needed for still a coach that is learning as he goes. But I agree with you. He was more assured of himself this spring than he was, at the times we got to talk to him last year.
Yeah, and I get Gary, part of the value of a trip like this is I get a much better sense of that because I'm not on the field in the spring with Nebraska. We just have that very limited availability. And I hate to talk about it too much because then the other media will go down to Texas, but it's really incredible how much time you get with these guys. It's not like, oh, quick interview before the camp, quick interview after the camp. No, you're on the field with them. I mean, I'm not, you're walking around the camp with Donovan, Raiola, with Satterfield. You're on the, I did an interview with Garrett during the camp, while guys were running 40. Well, they were warming up. So there's kind of some times that are better than others to interview. But like Terrence Knighton during the middle of a camp just said, hey, let's just do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And not because they're not paying attention to the camp, because there might be a little break in the camp or it was during the skill guy camp and Terrence, he was waiting for the show to start later in the day when the big men were there. So, yeah, I can tell you we could do a 2-hour show with all the stuff I learned. I mean, it's invaluable. And, I probably wrote 1/10 of what I've got right now. So it kind of keeps you going through June. There's a lot of interesting stuff that you learn that I had no idea. There's just stuff I had no idea. I had no idea that Jamari Butler, he's the guy who runs the defensive line room. You would have thought Ty Robinson or Nash. No, it's Jamari Butler. It was Jamari Butler and Thomas Fedoni after the Michigan game that said, guys, this isn't going to work. This can't happen. It was Jamari Butler and Fedoni. I had no idea. I had no idea that was the case until Terrence Knighton was telling me that. No idea that James Williams is going to be. I mean, watch James Williams this year. He's not. That's not a guy who's going to play 9 snaps a game. Okay, he's one of their better defensive linemen now. I had no idea.
Of the coaching staff guys you got to catch up with, who did you walk away the most impressed by with the information you got?
Oh, I hate to do that. I don't like to single anybody out. They're all really good. I mean, just based on what I just told you, Terrence Knighton I kind of gravitate to him. He's really personable, really funny, really. I mean, but he's not a clown. I mean, he's a dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say Knight, and I really, I like them. I like dealing with all of them. They're all in their own way. They're really great. Different personalities. It's interesting. There's much different personalities, but no, you really, really come away from this with a great understanding of that staff.
Yeah,
it's really interesting.
I'm with you on Terrence Knighton, and I think of the coaches that joined Matt Rule, I think Terrence Knighton is probably the one that has progressed. Because I think he has a good sense. I mean, the guy played in the NFL. He's got the mindset of a coach, but in terms of getting his position group right and everybody doing the same thing, and then also learning the recruiting thing, man, I think Terrence Knighton's got a bright future. I don't know if it is further in college or back to the NFL, but that man can coach.
Well, look at that defensive side of the ball. I get what you're saying. Yeah, Knighton with this position group into shape. So did DeBoer. So did Cooper. I mean, look at that side. I mean, they're less capable of the defense than the defensive side. But yes, Knighton did a good job. Again, DeBoer, think what he did, just with the inside linebacker position, and then kind of what he's done in the offseason, getting Bullock back, Vincent Savers coming in and making a mark. And it looks like that position's fine. Yeah, I'm really talking about that. I say that all the time. You have a right to play, and so he's going to get that. Cooper's obviously going to get that. Secondary, I think, stays strong side of the defense. So that side of the ball, they all.
And they have coached each other up, and their DC has let them coach.
Yeah, and in the DC, we don't even think. I didn't talk to Tony that much because I had interviewed Tony at that camp in Omaha.
Do you think it's because of the past alcohol?
No, I didn't. Yeah, but they, I didn't talk to Tony as much. A lot of Knighton, a lot of Satterfield, a lot of Cooper, a lot of Sonic Garrett, a lot of Barkel. So yeah, it was really good. And then, they got a guy, they got the job.
Hey, great stuff, Sip. I appreciate it. Sorry to hear about the travel snafu close.
A little harder.
Do you want us to reach out to Hobby Airport there in Houston and see if we can retrieve your Target bag?
No, it's kind of embarrassing. There's some dirty socks, the big loss with the deep after belt for about 3 years. I got to look back.
The YouTube comments are very concerned about your underwear situation.
Why? That's not something that needs to be aired out.
Yeah. That's glad they didn't.
I don't know what you refer to.
Welcome back. Great job. I enjoyed the coverage and the conversation. Thanks for contributing.
Thanks, Sip.
Thank you for having me.
Stephen and Sipple. We must read some of the comments. Jake responds, how do you forget your clothes for a trip both ways? And forget the new clothes you had to buy because you forgot to bring it back. This is one of the more incredible Sipple stories. I agree. John says, hold on. Sip forgot his luggage in Lincoln, then forgot his new clothes and bag in Texas. I'm worried about him.
Have you ever made it somewhere without your luggage? Either accidentally or due to the airport?
One time, knock on wood, down and back. Knock on wood.
Did it get lost by the airport, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst.
But I did get it. It got returned.
We had to drive back from Dallas because our flight got delayed so bad when we were coming back from Vegas. Our luggage arrived 6 days later at 3:30 in the morning by some random guy dropping it off on our doorstep. My neighbor across the street's a cop, and he came out with his gun and badge. Just like, can I help you, sir? Appreciate that. Thanks, Stefan.
I really want to get a hold of the TSA at Hobby Airport because they put all the stuff like in Lost.
Yeah.
Like did Sip just forget? You go through
What it
TSA
sounded like is he put the bag down, went through the checkpoint, and just left the Target bag sitting there. And part of me wonders if it was intentional because he didn't want to get the riff about the Target bag for the remainder of the trip. Might have been a power move. We might be worried about Sipple here. He might be playing 3D chess.
Only Stephen M. Sipple. I hope he expensed it. All right, 56.
I don't know if you've noticed this, by the way. It's just Stephen _Sipple on Twitter now.
Yeah, he's
making some changes.
He'll always be that to me. Brian Edwards coming up in the last hour on a Thursday edition to begin with a Woj bomb about the Lakers' pursuit of Dan Hurley from UConn. And by the way, it's 7:30 tonight. They tip game 1 in the Garden, where Luka will be the villain. Kyrie will be, just breathe. Game 1. Get your thoughts on who you think is going to win.
I think it's pretty obvious who I want to win. We can talk about it.
Jimmy and Gary at 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Host is roasting every morning. How does Host Coffee Services provide the best coffee for your workplace? By finding the richest and most robust coffee beans from all around the world and bringing them to our Nebraska roastery, where your coffee is roasted fresh and delivered straight to you.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
Hi, I'm Nick Brumell, owner of Royalty Roofing. The recent storms wreaked havoc on our community. Our team at Royalty Roofing is here to help. We're local, skilled, licensed, and bonded. We work for you to ensure you get the funds you deserve and make sure that the work is done to your satisfaction. Don't take risks with your biggest investment, your home. We are Better Business Bureau Integrity Award winners and Best of Omaha winners. Cover your roof with Royalty. Visit us today at royaltyroofing.org.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This message is from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. If you were exposed to toxic substances in the military, a new law called the PACT Act may make you eligible for extra benefits and care. The PACT Act benefits veterans of the Vietnam, Gulf War, and post-9/11 eras. Learn more at va.gov/PACT or call 1-800-MyVA411.
Success in today's electrical market requires your company to be able to adjust to an ever-changing field. A partnership with IBEW Local 22 gives you that flexibility with access to journeymen, apprentices, proven training programs, marketing assistance, entry into markets not available before, ability to expand and contract with changing market conditions, and a benefits package for you and your employees. Contact Bob at IBEW Local 22 for additional details at 402-980-7596.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, it was Paul Skenes Day yesterday. It's Kade Povich Day today. The former Bellevue West left-hander, former Husker, makes his debut in the majors. 12:07 today against Toronto. He got called up, and now he will pitch today. So not bad. The shortstop on the team pitched yesterday in the majors at Fenway Park, and now the ace of the same season is going to pitch today in Toronto.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him to get this start today, and hopefully he has a little more luck than Spencer did, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Schwellenbach has good stuff. He needs to pitch in AAA. So I imagine that it's probably coming up where he will be sent back to AAA, but Spencer Schwellenbach will be a starter in the majors. And Kade Povich will be a starter in the majors. I'm really looking forward to him pitching against Toronto today. That's an important game for the O's.
And he's in a great situation. Brought up Skenes, and I know we talk about the Ohtani thing because it's, obviously the headline grabber, but I think those two at bats are really important to, like, when we're talking about the development of a young pitcher. I mean, the fact that even if you can throw 101 mile an hour gas, that the guys in the majors are so good that it just takes them one at bat to kind of catch up to your stuff.
Yeah, I think we sometimes, I don't want to speak for everybody. You take Ohtani for granted.
Oh,
his swing is so effortless. The first time I ever saw Ohtani in person, he's a lot larger. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
But also he's not even pitching, and he's doing this. And then there's another debate about the Dodgers: is he the best player on their team?
Well, hold on,
like,
real quick.
Mookie Betts is having a hell of a year.
You're talking about the effortless swing. If you look at that home run in that second at bat against Skenes last night, he didn't even full swing through it.
Yeah.
He stops halfway through it. He put it over the part of the outfield.
One of the things I loved about that matchup between Skenes and Ohtani is that there was no soft fly out the center field.
Right.
It's either going to be I'm going to strike you out or I'm going to hit one into the river.
Yeah, there's going to be an out or a point put up in there.
But the wild thing, though, is last night is, what are you more enamored with? A guy that can pump it up there at 101 to Chapman through 104. Mason Miller for the A's last night. J-Rod hit a home run off him at 103. Are you more enamored with somebody that can throw 100 plus, or the quote-unquote Jack Cagliones who have an exit velo of 119 off the bat, or guys that hit home runs like Judge, 456, 460?
Take the distance.
Because you can see it and you know it, where if somebody's throwing hard, you go, man, they're throwing hard, but you don't know until you look at the scoreboard and say, man.
Well, it's another thing you see.
Aroldis Chapman threw his ninth pitch over 104 miles an hour.
The distance thing, you see guys put in all the effort they can to put it out to 250, 255. You see Judge and John Carl Stanton and these guys just power it out at 450 and keeps going. It's just incredible.
The other last moment from last night, Jimmy, I know this is kind of nerdy for you. Isn't it cool that all Pittsburgh sports teams wear the same colors?
I do like that, actually.
I like it.
It's uniform. It makes sense.
Okay, that's my nerd part of the show.
Love it. I think
I thought that too.
Now,
Wiz Khalifa make a really cool song about it.
We're about to find out if Paul Skenes is going to
Mia.
force the cheap Bob Nutting to spend money in Pittsburgh, because they have a good staff. I mean, you throw Jones and Skenes back to back, but if they don't spend any money,
if not now, when?
Yeah,
you've got a winner.
All right, traffic update. We have a major backup here. If you are headed towards downtown at 50th and Dodge.
Man, that 50th and Dodge.
Just turn around, go home.
Did I ever tell you the story about Josh Ludicky when he brought his junior J's in studio?
You did.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if I told you the story. Got T-bone right at 50th and Dodge.
Morbid.
Did you guys pick up the bill?
Josh, get at me. We'll see if we can help you out.
Get him a T-shirt.
Get
his email first.
Hey, Jimmy Allen's got a guy.
It was like 9 months ago.
I'm sure you have a mechanic. You have a body worker in town.
I do.
Okay.
You can always get a hold of our friends at Dingman's Collision Center, too.
Yes. Proud sponsors of all of 1620.
Company, man.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well done, Jimmy.
Good people over there.
They are, actually.
All right, last hour upcoming. We'll have more stories, and more important for Nebraska yesterday, getting a commitment. The position or the city? It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Jimmy Allen in for Nick. Jimmy Chavez here as well on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Reports of a crash I-680 on the off-ramp to westbound Dodge. That is on the left shoulder of that exit ramp. Expect delays temporarily there. The earlier accident I-80 eastbound at 42nd Street still has that left lane blocked and has traffic backed up to 84th Street. Traffic in most of the metro moving pretty smoothly right now. Just remember to stay safe and wear that seatbelt. Have a great rest of your Thursday. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Backlund Plumbing.
Backlund Plumbing, the most referred plumber in town.
So you need a plumber, do you? You should call the most referred plumber in town. Backlund Plumbing.
Backlund Plumbing, the most referred plumber in town.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that we can give our daughters everything they need to grow and learn. But not every child can focus on classes and play dates.
Nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. face hunger. That's 1 in 6. School lunch might be their only meal each day, and it's heartbreaking to imagine any child going to bed hungry. We're dreaming of a perfect day when kids can smile, play, and just be kids without worrying about where their next meal will come from. Feeding America is working to make that perfect day a reality.
Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste. That food is given to families and children in need. Being a kid should be about doing things that make an ordinary day extraordinary. Learning to play an instrument, building a sandcastle, hosting tea parties. Hunger should never be an obstacle to growing up.
You can help end childhood hunger in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
When it comes to protecting your home, J. Stennett Contracting takes pride in ensuring every detail is handled. Roofing, siding, gutters. When it comes to the exterior of your home, J. Stennett Contracting has you covered. Water, wind, and hail can wreak havoc on the exterior of your home. If your home is damaged, let J. Stennett Contracting come out for a no-obligation inspection. If repairs are needed, they will help you through every step of the process. When you need an honest assessment, J. Stennett Contracting has you covered. JSCRestoration.com.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. And 76, visit staples.com/print for details.
Introducing Modern Real Estate, the game changer in Nebraska's property market. With a competitive 2% commission rate, we're making buying, selling, and investing more affordable and transparent than ever. Our experienced agents blend local expertise with cutting-edge technology to provide top-notch personalized service to all clients. Don't settle for less when you can save big without compromising. Visit modernrealestateco.com and experience the future of real estate today. Modern Real Estate, redefining the way you do real estate.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Woj says Lakers are targeting Dan Hurley from UConn. LeBron says,
I like it, he says.
Got to be a done deal, right?
I think
massive long-term offer.
Is there any world in which JJ Redick turned them down? I can't imagine how that conversation would go. But it seemed like that was the full court press.
Turn on the chance to get fired in 2 years.
And then now you've got JJ Redick's podcast co-host saying that he loves this possibility. Kind of feels like,
or out of the blue, Dan Hurley and his agent said, "What's going on here?"
Yeah,
and they went, "Excuse me,
JJ Redick is the front runner. We could take
Jeannie
that job."
Buss and Rob Pelinka went, "Excuse me,
north of $10 million a year."
Yes,
yeah, I think it'd have to be right?
One of the highest paid coaches in the NBA. I mean, he probably will not have Monty Williams money, who is the highest paid coach in the league, with the Detroit Pistons, but he will be near the top. Some might say, what's the better job right now, UConn or the Lakers?
Right now?
Right now. Better job, UConn, coming off 2 straight national titles.
Yeah, they're losing a lot.
I'd rather coach at UConn. Go buy me a
Or
new
the
team.
Los Angeles Lakers, where you get LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Bronny James.
For another year and a half.
I'm good.
I think I'd take
Go
the
Huskies.
UConn job. Because for a couple reasons, right? I mean, they've had 9 coaches since 2012. That's
That many?
Yeah, it's close to that number. But you don't have any kind of guarantee.
The Lakers or UConn?
The Lakers.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah. And you don't have really any, like, it doesn't matter to them that you've won 2 national championships where, at UConn, you kind of have a little bit of clout and they love you, and it'd be kind of hard to get you to leave at any time. So if I'm Dan Hurley, I don't know if I'm leaving, especially for that job.
Hey, the only coach that LeBron and his posse could not run over was Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra.
Yep.
Every other coach, he has run them over and then run them out.
That's why Pat Riley's the man.
Yep. He tried that his first year. He tried to take over the team, and Pat Riley said to Maverick Carter,
"We don't do
not
that here."
happening." And that's Dwayne Wade's team. Like I think Dwayne Wade is the best running mate that LeBron has had, more than Kyrie,
because he could equal the superstardom.
Yeah,
I agree. That's been the one kind of black eye on LeBron's career is that he can't. He doesn't seem comfortable if there's somebody else of the same volition around him.
Rest in peace, David Blatt.
Well, there's also adults in the room that are like, no. This is, you joined us.
Yeah.
Okay. This is our franchise, and you're not going to derail it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's been the other thing. Is the other places he's gone, he's been the only guy.
Yeah, and also with Pat Riley.
Yeah.
I mean,
kiss the rings. Rings.
In Miami, where he is king.
I mean, I think the UConn job right now is better than the Lakers, but it is the Lakers. And for some, there's the allure of coaching in the NBA, but it is the Lakers.
Well, if they can get him double the amount of money he's getting paid right now.
Maybe they'll bring back winning time now.
Yeah, there you go. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Now that I have Max.
No. We have to say 3 nice things about 3 teams left in our.
Oh, yeah.
Say something nice about Big Ten teams this morning.
Easy. I'm the epitome of nice.
We'll start backwards. I'll save the best for last. Indiana.
They have football.
Whoa.
It's okay. I was struggling too.
Different from what I'm going to say.
Okay. Are you bullish on them this season? Is that what that means?
I like them to be a little better.
I don't like to cut in line unless I got a fast pass at Disneyland. I'm going to wait my turn. Jimmy?
I do like them to be better this year. I'm not saying they're going to win 9 games, but they have to be better.
I appreciate Indiana because Indiana is acting like they're going to take football seriously.
Okay, that's good. I like
They've
that.
invested into the program, and they invested into a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Cignetti is a good hire.
Yeah.
He's never been a loser.
You
look at what he did at James Madison, and he also is a quarterback whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a step back. You said they're investing in football.
They are investing in football facilities.
Right.
Stadium's been done. The NIL is better.
With all the money that is coming in through TV deals through the 4 football programs now, like, is that something we need to say that they're investing in football? Because shouldn't everybody at this point?
Yeah,
I understand it's Indiana, and I understand the basketball prowess, and I understand they've never done this before. Also, the stuff that's going on in Evanston with Northwestern and the new facility and all that. But, like, shouldn't this be happening, though? Like, shouldn't this not be a talking? It is. And I think it deserves to be. But shouldn't we be at the point where all this money should equate to everybody should be investing in football?
You're giving too much credit to athletic directors on spending money. But if you say that, if you make a commitment to football and then you have actions that back that up, I'm there with you. And I think they're doing that at Indiana. They made a good hire. That the Indiana-Nebraska game in Bloomington will be intriguing.
It always
very
is
intriguing. That time of the year, Indiana probably will have figured some things out. Nebraska could really have a lot of things figured out. I like that game. I like where it falls on the schedule after a bye week. But I think Indiana made a good hire for Indiana.
They have football.
Northwestern has football on the lake.
I think the best thing you could say about Northwestern after last year is they've had a quiet offseason. After everything they went through last year, to still stick 7 wins in the season and get to a bowl game against Utah and win against a team that a lot of people have as a dark horse as the national champions this year. They closed out strong. They won their last 4 games, but their defense needs to look a little more like that Utah game than it did against Illinois.
I like that they went in and got behind David Braun and When in doubt, they have that nifty practice facility overlooking the lake if you need to take a date.
Hey.
R.I.P. to kickers.
Northwestern football was better than Nebraska last year.
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern football has been better than Nebraska. Northwestern football made a smart hire, and they're doing smart things.
That's four.
They're never going to come off with the illusion that they're a 10-win football program. They know exactly who they are, and the times they've struggled is when they've gotten away from it. And they finally have an identity with a head coach who is a very smart football man.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
At a place that you want them to go all in on football, but you understand, so you got to be really good on the sidelines and the headsets. I think David Braun is a really good football coach, smart football coach, and I think he made a good hire in Zach Lujan, his offensive coordinator who came from South Dakota State. They can develop an identity now and recruit to that. And the other positive thing I'll say is the only discussion about Pat Fitzgerald. Now, if you're in Evanston, you're following the program, there's been lawsuits, so there's been a lot of chatter.
Yeah, all night.
But outside of Evanston, nobody's talking about Pat Fitzgerald unless it's his son's going to play football at Iowa. That's a credit to David Braun. And speaking of that, last team, Iowa. We'll do the other 9 tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah. I think their offense is going to be better this year. I hate the offensive coordinator hire, and I think part of Kirk Ferentz doesn't want it to be. But if Cade McNamara is healthy, he's going to help open up that running game and pushing the ball downfield. And they haven't really had that ability in Iowa City. LaShawn Williams almost went for 1,000 yards last year. I think he gets there this year because of the improvement of the passing game.
They will be better on offense, but we will still have some fun at their expense on offense because they won't light the world on fire. But this is saying something positive about them. They're consistent in what they do. So they're not going to take too many steps back. They're going to be there. A little bounce back year for them this year. You know what you're getting with Iowa.
People expect them to come out like 3 and 4 wide receiver sets.
Oh, no.
Isn't it still tight end you?
You still go 11 personnel. You just might throw to the tight end.
They have
maybe 12.
They have a defense.
Yeah. That's all we get out of you.
Can they get DeJean?
That's all you have to say is they
Phil Parker ever get a head coaching job?
Phil Parker and LeVar Woods go to work at the same place.
There you go.
And their defense every year is good enough to win them 7-4 games and win 7 football games overall.
Mm-hmm. We talked earlier about the NIL portion and will head coaches want to deal with that situation? Like that's got to be the biggest reason Phil Parker never gets a head coaching job because he doesn't seem like a guy that would ever want to deal with that. Is just, I want to show up. I want to get guys to run through walls for me and cause a couple turnovers. Hit the golden corral.
Sounds nice.
Interesting how they navigate their schedule. They're like we were talking earlier,
like the
Minnesotas and the Illinois that will be greatly hurt by not having divisions. Does that hurt Iowa? They would not like it to be. They'd like to just be a standalone, though. Hey, we're a good football program. But
we've seen them be able to rip off 10 wins, and we talked about that possibility.
What does that do that for them in their division?
It's one of those things. I mean, if you can get back to that 10-win mark, and we talked about if you have a seat at the Big Ten, you're talking about 10 wins, you've probably got a path to the playoff and maybe even hosting a playoff game, and that's a big get if you're the Iowa athletic department.
All right, Brian Edwards coming up in about 25 minutes. He's got a thought or two on Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight between Dallas and Boston from the Garden. Last 2 minutes of the game, who you taking? Ball in their hand, they got to win the game for you. The combo of Luka, Kyrie, or Brown and Tatum.
Luka, Kyrie.
Yep, same.
Every time. For me, it's not even debate.
Does Jason Tatum need a ring? What if Boston...
They don't win it this year.
What if Boston won the title, but Brown was the MVP?
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. With the defense that Dallas has and the focal point on Jason Tatum, I think if Boston's going to win, that might be the way they have to do it.
Imagine the hot takes if Boston doesn't win today after being off longer than Dallas and rolling through the playoffs, and all of a sudden now they face a red-hot Dallas team.
5-5-4 in their game series. Yeah.
Ooh. Man, the Sports Hub will go all night talking about the Celts.
I told you Kyrie should have stayed in Boston.
All right, 9:20. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Jimmy and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I read a book about the idea of aliens being a thing.
What is that, a new concept? Someone writing about aliens?
No. It talked about if we're going to find aliens, how we hope to find them.
Boy, that sounds like a really exciting book.
It was a great book. I ripped right through it.
Sean, this is why you don't have fun. You don't allow yourself to wonder.
I wonder all the time. I wonder how I've made it this long being next to you two.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Another day with sunny skies. Thursday, though, quite breezy with northwest wind gusting around 30 miles per hour. Mild with highs around 80. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
It's going to be another sizzling hot summer. Stay cool with 35% off new Champion windows. Don't burn your money on high energy bills. Get new energy efficient windows from Champion. 35% off. Plus, get an extra $100 off every window you replace. The more you buy, the more you save. We help you choose the best design options for your home. We then build your project in our very own factory. Our install team manages your project every step of the way, and it's all backed by our lifetime guarantee. Plus, we're giving away the chance to win a $50,000 home makeover. Enter online today. Turn your house into your dream home with more livable space in a new Champion sunroom, or enhance your curb appeal with new siding. Now 35% off. Don't wait. This sale won't last long. 35% off windows, sunrooms, and siding. Plus, get an extra $100 off every window you replace. Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit championsavenow.com to schedule a free in-home estimate today. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
Enjoy baseball, food, and fun for the whole family as you watch the Storm Chasers this season at Werner Park. Don't miss any of the excitement happening at the ballpark. See what's coming up at OmahaStormChasers.com.
Everyone get on your feet, stir up the storm with family.
They say health is wealth, and I could not agree more. That's why if you or somebody in your life is living with everyday aches and pains, I want to tell you about Relief Factor. And I'm telling you, I can feel the difference. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that helps fight pain naturally. Naturally. Now that's a big deal. Developed by doctors. Relief Factor's unique formula of ingredients all work together to help support your body's response to inflammation. Instead of masking pain for a couple of hours, Relief Factor actually helps reduce or even eliminate your pain for good. Whether it's neck, back, joint, or muscle pain, if you're looking to feel better, live better, give Relief Factor a try. In 3 weeks, you will know if it's working because you'll feel it. For instance, I was sent Relief Factor to try, and I've been taking it every single day. I'll tell you what, I feel the difference every day. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. Save on your first order. Don't let pain tell you how to live. Fight back naturally with Relief Factor. These products and statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Success in today's electrical market requires your company to be able to adjust to an ever-changing field. A partnership with IBEW Local 22 gives you that flexibility with access to journeymen, apprentices, proven training programs, marketing assistants, entry into markets not available before, ability to expand and contract with changing market conditions, and a benefits package for you and your employees. Contact Bob at IBEW Local 22 for additional details at 402-980-7596.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank. Hey, it's Happer for the FanDuel Sportsbook, and finally, it's time. The NBA Finals are here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win alongside the champs, because right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with a winning $5 bet. $200 to use on same-game parlays or live bets or so much more during the NBA Finals. So think about some player props for Game 1. You could go that route, or you could go with a straight-up over-under, a straight-up side, whichever way you want to play it. Put yourself in great position to get that $200 in bonus bets. That's with any winning $5 bet. Get on the action right now with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Just head to FanDuel.com/Happer right now to get started and take a shot at an extra $200. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and over, present in Iowa. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, NBA Finals tonight, game 1. I like the Celtics in 6.
Give me Dallas in 7.
Manifesting Celtics in 7. We need a 7-game series where I don't
In
care
a
about
bad
either
way.
teams.
And they need Porzingis to play all 6 or 7 games.
And it doesn't sound like he may be available tonight. He's still a game time decision.
Bill
Right?
Walt, or not Bill.
I
Rest in
think
peace.
he's good tonight.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, I just don't know how much he'll play.
McHale played on a broken foot in the finals once.
Yeah.
Suck it up,
And then
KP.
he was on
Exactly.
Cheers.
The more I think about the courtship of the Lakers and Dan Hurley from UConn, which is the big story this morning, Dan Hurley is a really good coach for Bronny
Spoiler alert.
James over LeBron. For Bronny James, Dan Hurley, great coach. For LeBron,
Is that the reasoning?
Do you think they take him in the first round?
That's a great point.
In the first round? It's not like he's not going to be there in the second.
Awful tempting.
I don't know.
Got to keep Dad.
Right, but nobody's taking him. Right?
Better hope the Memphis Grizzlies don't go take him.
Do the Celtics have the ability to do the funniest thing
Washington
ever?
Wizards.
if they don't.
I would, just to force their hand to trade.
It'd be funny.
7:30 tonight is game 1 of the NBA Finals from the Garden. We'll discuss it tomorrow. And
World Series of basketball.
people getting on Kyrie. Kyrie's a different man. Remember, he was with a young Tatum and Brown in the 17-18 season.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't loathed in that season. He was injured. Like the people hate him now in Boston. Remember, he stomped on Lucky. Dallas or
got water bottles thrown at him.
Kyrie Irving hasn't won a game since he stomped on Lucky. 0-9. Remember the incident with Brooklyn, where he really got into it with the fans
And they
during the
almost
playoffs?
jumped in the tunnel after him. Yeah.
He's different. He's different. He's kumbaya.
Boston in 6. Now that you've given me that stat,
No, there's not a
I'm
pandemic.
dead serious.
and
6.
He's expressed his thoughts about the world being flat. He just seems like he's got his life together a little bit better.
He's just hooping. You know, there's no drama, there's no trade request, there's no sabotaging. He's just playing. I mean, I think he likes who he's around. Luka has helped him out a lot, and then I think Jason Kidd as well.
It's kind of got the Stephon Diggs feeling to him, right? A little bit like where it's when things are good, he's a really good teammate, but when things are bad, it's like scorched earth.
It's like Dennis Rodman.
A little bit.
I would know.
I don't know. I think Kyrie's better at his profession than Diggs is.
I don't know.
Kyrie at peak is one of the best point guards.
That's true.
going.
Yeah. Stephon Diggs is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
I watched him put 57 points on
And
my
they-
team with
they
a
know
great
McCole
defense.
Hardman, who just resigned with the Chiefs.
Yeah, he's much better.
All right, so signing day for football, good transition here, is coming up in December. Jamarian Parker yesterday committed to Nebraska. 4-star running back from St. Louis, chose Nebraska over Alabama and TCU, a position of need. Nebraska didn't get a high schooler last year, but they get a running back about the same time they got Quan Lacey last year. Lacey didn't stick. Will Parker stick? We'll see. But St. Louis will be mentioned a lot. Unfortunately, the Cardinals play there. But I do love me some Battlehawks. Hey, and they love professional football in St. Louis. They got screwed over. You can see they love the Battlehawks.
Yeah, they hate my
but football, but that's a good football area. And it's in a big-time high school football area, but
Yeah, you got Lee
everybody
Summit
is there.
Yeah.
Nebraska has been in and out of there, and we've spent time on this show talking about how does Nebraska get in there. We even had, his name escapes, I think it's Coach Reed, has come on the show, and he's talked about, and he's one of the—
Andy?
No.
Oh.
He's coaching St. Louis at high
JR.
school. No. And he has talked about how, great talent, Nebraska can get in here, and, Dan Alexander was from the St. Louis area.
Famously.
Yeah.
Trey Bryant most recently, and then
And he had such upside to it. That his career coming up short.
he had some major knee issues.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. His
Yeah.
career getting cut short the way it did.
So Nebraska has paid a lot of attention to St. Louis. I mean, look at Kenny Wilhite, former Husker who was on the staff. They're like, hey, Kenny, go get us a player from St. Louis. Go find us the next Chris Brooks. So Nebraska's tried to get in there, but a lot of people are in there. And I will tell you another thing that has hurt Nebraska is the resurgence of Mizzou football. I mean, Mizzou football is a top 10 program. No, Mizzou football has a recruiting juggernaut.
They've passed that law that allows you to get NIL money before.
But here's
before
another
you commit.
thing. Here's another thing that I think, and like the whole state of Missouri, Nebraska used to be able to get whoever they wanted. Hey, there's a Wistrom. Come on up. There's a Rucker. Hey, come on up. They used to just fleece the state of Missouri from St. Louis to Kansas City, Jefferson City, anywhere else. If they wanted a player, they got him. Cookie Belcher, Teron Lou in basketball. But they've tried in St. Louis, and they have not had great success. But Eli Drinkwitz has got his program headed in the right direction. They're a recruiting juggernaut. It's an in-state school. And then here's the other thing that I think hurt Nebraska. Nebraska went to the Big Ten. Mizzou went to the SEC.
Yeah.
And Mizzou could recruit with an SEC label on their polo, and you went, huh? As they were, the good start with Pinkel, and then they went through a rough patch, and now Drinkwitz is in there, and he's selling SEC.
He's got it
That's
rolling.
a big factor, I think, in shutting out the Nebraskas that were really good in the state of Missouri.
Well, do you think Nebraska would have the same exact response and success from a recruiting standpoint if they were to have joined the SEC as well? Because I don't think it would have worked as well.
No,
it
would.
Really?
The SEC?
Just because how much further north it is? Like, you don't think that's a factor?
Kid goes, SEC?
This is the San Diego, the Big Ten. What are you talking about?
SEC?
I get what you're saying. I don't know if it would have had the same feel to it. I don't know.
Now, another factor in this of why this is a key commitment is he's a very popular kid in the city of St. Louis. So all the young ballers know him.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal because you follow a player and you're like, man, I Friday night, that guy is a dude. I mean, he ran for 11 yards per carry. So little kids know him, and then they go, he's going to Nebraska? So that young kid that watches him goes, oh, man, okay, that's cool. We got a guy at Nebraska. I'm going to watch Nebraska. I'm going to pay attention to Nebraska. And you hope that leads to, the next guy you can find. But more important, Nebraska got a guy yesterday out of St. Louis, or they got a running back. Big picture, long term.
They got a guy out of St. Louis. You need to not only get a guy out of St. Louis, but you got to get a guy out of St. Louis that's going to have a hit rate. And Jamarian Parker looks like a guy that's about as close to his can't miss as you can get. So I think that's a big deal.
I'll go short term, running back. But what you said, running back, and then people see that because it opens some doors down there.
Now, if you win, maybe it jump starts in that region, but you've got a challenge on your hands. I mean, you got to work to get guys out of Missouri, out of St. Louis, out of Kansas City, because there's such good football talent that everybody is in there now. And so you have a lot more competition. But how about this? This is say something nice. What if Nebraska in the next couple of weeks bookended the state of Missouri?
Yeah.
They went into the show me state and they said, here we go. Running back from St. Louis, linebacker from Kansas City, who Alabama wanted both of them.
And you're winning both those recruiting battles. That's been the most impressive thing about this staff. For as young as this staff is and how unexperienced they were when they got here, the fact that they're winning some of the big-time battles they are, like it's Sip talked about it with Garrett McGuire and Terrence Knighton. They're going up against the big dogs, and they're pulling out some pretty big wins.
Now,
what happens when you start winning some games on top of it?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like you feel good in your recruiting now. I think Parker's going to end up in my Super 6, and the 8 previous, there's nobody that I go, oh yeah, that guy is definite. But Parker's a really, really good pickup. Just got to keep him. Got to get him from now until December. But there is the other side of this. When I say Mizzou, top 10 program, okay, they're going to be preseason top 10.
You brought up K1 Lacey. That's where he's at now.
They are recruiting like crazy. And they're also benefiting from a time where the state of Missouri is producing dudes. Not just fillers, they're producing dudes. What's the reaction if Mizzou comes into this city and gets a tight end? Because Nebraska is in a battle for Chase Lofton.
Right.
And Mizzou is involved. I mean, if Mizzou comes into Omaha and plucks a guy, it basically, PJ Fleck, for the longest time, and he thought he had his guy in Avante Dickerson at Westside, wanted to come into Omaha and get a guy because he wanted to stick it to Nebraska.
Right.
I'm going to go in and I'm going to get a Nebraska guy that they want. He got Avante Dickerson to commit, and Avante never ended up there.
Utah State
but
now?
Fleck, I think that's where he's at. But Fleck, he thought he had Betts. He thought Betts was his guy, and man, he wore a path from Minneapolis to Bellevue trying to get a guy. Now Minnesota hasn't really been as active in the last couple of years
Since
in the
that
area.
time frame, yeah.
But you know who has taken their place?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah. And I hesitate to say it's a big deal if Missouri comes in and gets Chase Lofton, because it's not like 4 or 5 schools are targeting Chase Lofton. You've got a bunch of schools that have come calling for his signature, and it's obviously a big deal if anybody gets him out here. But I mean, maybe it's less of a big deal because it's an SEC school, not a Big Ten school.
I'm telling you, the brand of the SEC. I mean, if you are in the state of Missouri and it's Nebraska in the Big Ten, you go, okay. Missouri in the SEC compared to the Big 12, you went, what? Hello, SEC football? It's all about branding.
In hindsight now, looking back, would you have rather Nebraska entertain the SEC idea versus? Yeah, I don't think so. I just don't think it works.
But now it is going to turn out to be fruitful because of where the Big Ten is heading, and you're in the Power 2.
And there's a lot of worry about there if the people in at the table now are going to have that seat in 5 years. I'm kind of starting to waver on that. I think if you're in, you're going to have a spot to at least be a part of the discussion about the Power 2.
The committee will look differently at you.
Agreed.
I mean,
I'm talking more long term. Like when we talked about earlier with Sip about maybe breaking away and being the standalone thing away from the NCAA. Like if that were to happen, I think if you've got a seat at the table, it helps your discussion.
Oh yeah, I mean you're secure, but that's why you can't take it for granted. A school like Nebraska is that you're always going to be in the Big Ten, and they're going to love you. You got to prove it. I mean, everything keeps adding up. 86 days away from how important the season is to win football games. Winning brings you what? Brings you more security. Brings you more money.
Well, just look at what Ohio State and Michigan have been able to do. Hey, we don't want to play on Friday nights.
Less pain in the ass Sunday mornings. More times you might go to church because Saturday didn't go your way and you're like, I'm not getting out of bed.
Less 2 a.m. big red overreactions.
I was on the Fresno State big red overreaction.
Were you?
Which is the one that's gone the latest.
Why was it? Why?
Because the kickoff was 9:30 in Fresno.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about the game in Lincoln.
Oh
Sorry.
no.
Yeah. I was like, that was like a 6 o'clock kick.
There's a couple of Michigan State game that went.
What's the worst one you've ever been on?
The worst one?
Yeah. There's been a lot recently.
Wisconsin in the Melvin Gordon game.
Oh yeah. The Big Ten championship game.
Oh yeah. Well, that one was bad, but that was. I don't remember anything about the callers. I just remember that there were 4 hosts and 2 of them wanted to fight, like physically get into a fist fight in a sports bar in Columbus, Ohio.
I have heard this story.
I have not.
Cool. Yeah. Well,
listen, off-air discussion.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's no, because it was on air. People were like, "Are you guys okay?" Bishop and I were like, "Oh."
Who were the other 2 hosts?
Michael and Damon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you got a player who is passionate that just saw his alma mater get their ass kicked. And you got Michael who wanted to talk about the Kenny Bell play and officiating, and it was not good. There were a bunch of drunk Ohio State fans. It was bad. Not drunk Ohio State fans, drunk Wisconsin fans. Yeah.
That's the worst when you have to do a radio show and around a hostile environment and you just get people come up and heckling you while you're trying to talk. It's not a great feeling.
Yeah. Well, maybe those are in the past.
Hopefully.
All right. Brian Edwards is in the future. He's coming up next. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Jimmy and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
Hey, everybody, it's Michael Sevilla for Ted and Wally's. There's so much going on in the Benson area all summer long. And one of the great things about it is when you're down there, whether you're checking out an art exhibit or you're going to one of the great stores or even swinging by one of the great bars and restaurants, you can also stop by Ted and Wally's and top off your day or night. You know how that is. You go out, you get a great meal, but you need a little bit of something sweet at the end. And the place to get the best in sweetness is at Ted and Wally's Premium Ice Cream. You can swing by there while you're in Benson, checking out all the great summer activities. And if you're downtown, lots of great summer activities down there as well, whether it's art festivals and that big baseball tournament, all that's going on down there as well. Swing by the Old Market location and get yourself some great ice cream. Hey, the bullpen's right there too, right? As baseball is going on, you swing by there and you can get a coupon for some free ice cream from the folks over at 1620 The Zone. You can get all of that. It is a great time for ice cream because it's the summer, Both locations are open and ready for you, whether it's the Old Market or in Benson. And when you stop by, tell them Severe sent you.
Is your concrete cracked or uneven? Hey everyone, Coach Greg McDermott here to explain why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. Many people think they need to replace broken concrete, but repairing it provides durable protection and comes at a fraction of the cost. Everlevel provides permanent repair solutions to fix your concrete and protect it against future damage, and it all comes with a long-term transferable warranty. They offer free inspections to walk you through the entire process. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. You'll be able to bring your most intensive projects to life with built-in AI, minimalistic design, immersive visuals, and cinematic audio. When you shop online at Dell.com/deals, you'll have access to exceptional tech and electronics plus free shipping on everything. Amazing prices await you for a limited time only at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
This Father's Day, the Home Depot has same-day delivery on the perfect gift to help Dad be everything he can be. Because your dad is more than just a dad. He's groundskeeper of the yard, the perfecter of the patio, and the cleaner of the clippings. Let the Home Depot help power Dad's doing with the convenience and gas-like power of Milwaukee cordless outdoor tools. Plus, get up to $150 off select Milwaukee tools. For everything Dad is, find the perfect gift at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/radio. That's hims.com/radio for your free online visit.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, time to chat with our good friend from VegasInsider.com, the senior handicapper, Brian Edwards, where you can find him on Twitter at Vegas B. Edwards.
Vegas B. Edwards, yes.
He joins us now every Thursday, as he does. What a Woj bomb this morning. Good morning.
Right? I'll still be surprised if he leaves UConn.
Would you run through a wall for Dan Hurley?
Nope.
What's the
But
better?
my playing career is long been over, gentlemen. My playing career has been over for a minute.
What's the better job right now, UConn or the brand of the Los Angeles Lakers with one of the best players ever about to become?
Yeah, it's not fair to ask me that. I love college basketball. I'm not into the NBA. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say UConn. I would never want to coach. I would never want to coach.
Okay, duly noted. But you like to cap the NBA. This is we finally get basketball tonight. And there's all kinds of storylines. Like, what if Kyrie wins his second title? What's that leap look like? How much of an elevation is Luka if he gets the title? Will Jason Tatum get one? We don't even really talk about Missoula anymore. But there's all kinds of storylines. There's a lot of intrigue to this. There's Porzingis, who was supposed to be the running mate for Luka, but it didn't work out. Kyrie steps in, and then there's Kyrie going back to Boston. They haven't played neither one of these teams have played in a while. The line is 6.5 for the Celtics. Game one, I think, is pretty important, B. Where do you lean for game one tonight in regards to the line?
I've played it. I'm on the Mavs plus 6.5. Now, they did lose and failed cover in both regular meetings, but I just like the way they're playing right now. I like how the rookie rivalry is playing. Luka and Kyrie has been dynamite. So 9 road games in the playoffs. The Mavs are 7-2, but straight up into the spread. They've won outright in 5 straight their last 7 as underdogs. They have won outright in 6 of those. So I'm going to go Mavs plus 6.5. I got the over at 14.5, whatever, 5, 6 days ago. I feel like it's 15.5. The over is on a 5-1 run for both teams. The regular season head-to-head meetings, they had combined scores 248, 229. So I'm going Dallas and Field.
Is there any number? Obviously, there's a point. If that number continues to jump on the over, is there a number where you're like, yeah, I wouldn't touch it at this?
Yeah, I'd probably have to cut it off at like 217 or 18.
Okay.
But I mean, just get it now.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry about it.
Good advice. Good advice.
Who take
No,
out?
but I hear what you're saying though. Yeah, I wouldn't go higher than 217
Hey,
or 18.
take the line out of this. Who needs this game tonight more, Boston or Dallas, to start 1-0?
Boston. I think Boston needs it more. I mean, if you're Dallas, you're here to get a split. So I'd say Boston.
If there's somebody that needs to be a star for the Celtics tonight, who do you think that has to be for them to win?
Well, Tatum or Brown, but I guess I'll say Tatum.
Let's talk some win totals. And we were actually just talking about them because Nebraska went in and got a 4-star running back out of St. Louis yesterday. They've had, there's some head-to-head battles in the history of both programs between Nebraska and Mizzou when they were in the Big 8 and the Big 12. You have the SEC and the Big 10. But we've talked about, it's pretty amazing the quick turnaround that Eli Drinkwitz has had in Columbia. They won 11 games last year. They beat Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Whether Ohio State wanted to be there or not, Mizzou wanted to be there, and Mizzou looked good. He has recruited at a high level. They are going to start as a top 10 team B. They're a veteran team. Their win total, I can't believe we're saying this with past recent history of Mizzou football. Their win total is 9.5. Can they get to 9.5 when they start with Murray State, Buffalo, and Boston College?
Yeah, they definitely can. The schedule really works. I'm on over 9.5, which you can get a small plus money. I got plus 120. So 8 starters back on an offense that was dynamite. 5 starters back on D. They lost some talent on D, but they hit the portal well. They got the number 14 transfer specific class. But back to the schedule. So yeah, you look at those first 4 games at home. I mean, I think they're favored by at least 17 in all those, and then they get 2 weeks to prepare for A&M. Granted, it's at Texas A&M, and DraftKings has the Aggies favored by 4 there. But Mizzou gets 2 weeks to prepare. A&M will be playing a 6th game in 6 weeks and be off the rivalry game against Arkansas. I really only see 2 underdog spots on the schedule. They're plus 8.5 at Bama, according to DraftKings, and they're a 4-point favorite at home to Oklahoma. I would say Oklahoma's at home is probably their 3rd toughest game, and that's another game like the game at A&M where they get 2 weeks to prepare and their opponent does not. Wow. You look at the road games, I mean, at UMass, at South Carolina, which is retooling and has a win total of 5.5 and no longer has a proven quarterback, and at Mississippi State, which is a complete rebuild, and then you get Arkansas at home. I mean, look, I really think they're going to be double-digit favorites in just tons of games. Not at home to Oklahoma, probably not at home to Auburn, and probably not at South Carolina. But everywhere else, they're probably double-digit favorites. And like I mentioned, 2 out of their 3 toughest games, they get 2 weeks to prepare, and the other team doesn't. So let's say they lose at A&M and at Bama. I mean, as long as they can sweep those road games at South Carolina and at Mississippi State and take care of business at home to Auburn and Oklahoma, they should, go 10-2. So it's the schedule is the main thing, but I trust Brady Cook. Now, anytime you're taking over, you got to worry about,
injuries.
Your quarterback getting hurt.
Yep.
but that's every over that you take.
Conor McGregor is making his highly anticipated return to the octagon for UFC 303 at the end of the month this year. This month, he takes on Michael Chandler. Who do you got in that event?
Yeah, I mean, I had already taken Chandler, and I love Chandler in this fight. But the fact that the odds have not moved with the cancellation of the press conference on Monday, I know it's all speculation right now, but I mean, it's either one of two things. Either McGregor didn't want to be limping if he's got an injury, or there's some sort of contract dispute with Dana or some beef going on there. But the show's still on for now, and the odds haven't moved. So again, I like Chandler anyway, but if there's a possible injury, which it seems there's at least a 50-50 chance of that, if you haven't bet Chandler yet, what are you waiting on? Is my only point.
Dustin Poirier, first ballot Hall of Famer?
Oh, absolutely first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Is he done?
Well, so he comes out yesterday. He's got a broken nose. He's got a broken rib. And he's got a partially torn ACL, and I guess they're going to give it some time before they decide whether he's going to have surgery. So he doesn't have to decide that, And if he does have surgery, well, he's out a year anyway. So I don't think he's going to rush into a decision. Hopefully he doesn't have to go under the knife. Those partial ACL tears, sometimes you can, let it heal, and if it's healing correctly, maybe you don't have surgery. I don't think he's done. Assuming that the recovery on this injury is going to be okay. I think he can fight at 155 and 170, and they can create some fun fights for him, and he can make a lot more money. So I think we'll see him another time or two.
What was he?
If not 3 or 4.
Yeah. What is he? 35.
35,
yeah.
And he's not lost a step. I
No.
mean, I thought he looked great the other night.
Yeah, despite all those injuries. I mean, he had no business being
He was
able
in
to
that
limp
fight
through
to the
that. He
very
did.
end.
Yeah, against a monster.
Yeah, I mean, there were moments in the 4th and 5th I thought he might be able to get it done.
Same.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it was a hell of a fight, no doubt.
It was in New Jersey last weekend. B, have a great weekend and enjoy the NBA Finals tonight, and good luck with the Dallas 6.5.
Y'all as well. Thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
That's Brian Edwards, our senior handicapper from Vegas Insider. Likes Dallas 6.5. I like Boston to win tonight. I like Boston to win outright. I like them to cover. The favorites in Game 1 have on a heater here.
Especially when they turn the air conditioning off.
I wonder, like it is
10
in
years
here right now.
I know. He knows.
I know what you're talking about. I was just making the familiar reference. I wonder if at any point because I'm of the volition, if you're battle tested walking into a finals, you're better off for it. And the easy road that Boston has had, I wonder if any part of them has to catch up to the ability and the quickness that Dallas has.
That's a good question. It's fair. And I might say, does it even matter?
Sure. I mean, obviously you have dudes on the other side too.
This will be a 2-2 series, and Boston will win the last 2.
And Dan Hurley will be the discussion point during the entire broadcast.
Which is what they wanted.
And you'll be disappointed that J.J. Redick didn't get the Laker job, because that means that him and Doris Burke will sit next to each other. And we don't get Tim Legler, but we at least get Mike Breen.
Canceled out.
Got ESPN. I mean, the $76 billion TV deal for the NBA with their new deal where NBC and Amazon are coming into play. We still have to have ESPN.
Yep. You speak the
outside of Mike Breen and Hubie Brown. It's rough.
They've paid all this money for these TV rights. Do you think any part of them has any regret about it yet because of the talent they've either lost or had to let go and the situation that they're in?
Most people don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kind of feels like they're
Look
starting
at the inferior product they put in. Trust me, they don't care. You get Stephen A. Smith.
That's a good point.
I don't know. Live sports better than studio shows.
And I will always agree with that. They've lost some pretty good commentators too, though. I mean,
they have. And TNT is going to lose a show. And like Kevin Harlan, can you fathom Kevin Harlan not calling NBA games next winter?
He just got the #1 gig and
a
couple of years ago, and
now it's already gone. Yeah, it's not like. But here's the thing: with a guy like Kevin Harlan's talent, he's gonna find his way somewhere, though.
You think?
Yeah, I think it'll be all right.
I mean, the zone's always looking.
Who?
John Schreiner
Is
fired.
Is it Tirico for NBC, or will it be Noah Eagle as their lead NBA announcer?
I predict Noah.
I think it'll be Noah Eagle.
Okay. What about Bob Costas? Bring him back. What about Marv? Let's just bring
sweet
hey,
suits.
we're coming back with Round Ball Rock. Let's bring all the olds back that were on
Whoever
NBC.
the sideline reporter is,
Snapper Jones.
you have
Tom
to
Hannon.
wear only pastel color suits while you're on the court.
Yeah.
All right, Hicks still available.
Game 1 tonight. Also, softball season could be over. Oklahoma goes for their 4th straight national championship. They both go at the same time, 7:30 tonight. We got the NBA Finals, and we got Game 2 of the Women's College World Series.
Softball's not afraid of the NBA.
Super Regional starts tomorrow. We'll get into that, and we'll say 9 nice things about the 9 other Big Ten teams that we did not get to today, including Nebraska.
Famously not on the list today.
No, we saved them the best for last.
You
right?
didn't switch it up though. You know that, right? You gave me 2 teams that you sent
Really?
me that were different. It's okay.
Good. You're versatile.
I'm a professional.
You are. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good.
See you tomorrow, Jimmy. We'll see all of you at 6 tomorrow. Crossovers coming up next on 1620 The Zone.